this work. Okay. Do we have Evie?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
All right, then I'll close my win.
Wasted on.
I will close my window into your stream then, which I was watching just for the countdown,
All
and
right.
I'm good to go on my end. It looks like. Um.
Yeah, I think I'm good here. I might have to fiddle with the window, but it's fine. We can move
All right.
along with
Let
it.
me make. Let me make sure.
Luna is wasted on cocktail weenies, FYI.
All right. Let me make sure
I
that.
don't know what that means.
Let me make sure that my Twitch is getting audio real quick. You might hear an echo
All
for
right.
just a moment. Real quick. You might hear an echo
All
for
right.
just a moment. Real quick. You might. Okay, I'd say I'm working. But can you say
Yeah, there's
something real
definitely an
quick?
echo.
Okay,
Hold
I'd
on.
say I'm working.
Check one, two.
But can
Check,
you say
check,
something
check,
real quick?
check.
Okay, I'd say I'm
Technical
working.
stuff is fun. Technical stuff is fun.
All right,
One, two,
I
three.
just. All right, yeah, I'm working on my end. Am I still echoing at this point right now at the beep? Beep.
I I cannot hear you echoing.
All right, good. That means my audio test is successful. That basically means I turned on my Twitch audio, heard us echoing, and turned it back off. That told me that yes, audio is playing back on my stream.
Cool.
All
Hey,
right.
chat on my end. Is the audio sounding okay so far? Let me know
And
if you can.
before I switch into the game window real quick, I just want to take one
Awesome.
more.
Shinobu is reporting audio is fine.
All right, I want to take one quick look. I just want to check back and see what you're seeing. So we're good here. So if I switch into we should see the games splash screen in just a moment. There we go. And that should show up on your stream in just a moment. I switched the visual over to the game.
Your audio is breaking up really bad. It's sort of dropping out. It sounds like.
Um, my OBS isn't showing any audio issues. Um, could it be the
Well, no,
background
it's just
noise?
what was coming through on this side.
Could it be the background noise?
Uh, I don't know.
All right.
It's all I know is it was chopping out there for a minute, but it's better now.
All right. So yeah, you see the game. I see the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and of course,
Let's go.
and of course, today is Purim, the Jewish holiday, and it's a fun one. This is the one with Queen Esther and Uncle Mordecai and King Ahasuerus and Haman. I don't know if you know that story, but this is probably the second most fun of the Jewish holidays in terms of fun level.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I know it's spelled differently, but Purim is where my wife went to junior high school, I believe. Purim, Oklahoma.
Uh, I've actually never heard of that
Same
place.
letters, but in a different
I
order.
I
Yeah,
wonder.
P-O-R-U-M is the city in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Purim.
A
That's okay. You got background noise.
Oh, different
Yeah.
vowels. Okay.
different vowels, but it's pretty much the same. Pronounced the same. Anyway.
Same pronunciation here. Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
So
Well,
yeah.
happy Purim. There you go.
Yeah. My just a heads up for my stream. I'm not sure what's going on with the promised Mario Kart Part 2 this weekend. If I'm not able to stream Saturday, I will try to get it in Sunday, but I do have to get that one in this weekend if possible because next weekend I have
Yeah.
something special planned for the first weekend of spring. That's I've had it on my Lego calendar for like 2 months, so next weekend
Nice. Okay.
I can't let it go another week with the Mario Kart.
All right.
All right, let's get started.
All right. Well, let's get on to some eagle eye. Let's
Yeah.
exercise our eagle eyes and eye some eagles and all of that,
All right.
and go to England and
Let's see if I remember
go
how
to
to get
England
this
and
game
make bad
started.
jokes.
So, yeah, I'm actually gonna keep. I'm gonna keep your window open on my other screen, and just periodically check back to the OBS because my OBS usually runs solid. But most importantly, this will enable me to see your chat as well as my own. You get more chat than I do, so
It almost sounds like a it almost like it sounds like a bandwidth drop on your side with the audio chops, but like I said, it is much better now.
It is or isn't?
I wouldn't worry about it. Let's just
All right.
it is much better. Yeah, I would say let's not worry about it and just continue on. There's probably nothing we can do about this point anyway.
All right. So I'm going into the game. We were in Uncle Evie, right? I think we were in Uncle Evie.
It
Uh,
wasn't test game, so that's got to be it. I hope
all
that's
right.
it. Otherwise, we're going to be redoing some mysteries here.
Let's see. Let's just see. Scrapbook 1. So a quick recap of
All right,
last
here we
week's
go. Yep.
episode, if it will let me go into here. All right. So we had the Sherlock Holmes contest last week, and then we did the Macbeth mystery, and then we had the band notebook, and then we did the teenage tennis ghost thing, and then we did the stolen tiger cub. That was a fun one. That was a recurrence of the McCavity character, and then of course we finished on King Arthur from Tintagel Castle, which of course he wasn't. So we have confirmed we are in the correct game now, and I'm not going to do that before every episode. I just
Tantagel, Tantagel.
We're gonna go to the choose a mystery window
All right.
if it'll let me go there. And it looks like the pilfered phone, the case of the pilfered phone, is where we're going next. Are you ready? I can tell you for sure.
1 second. 1 second. I've got a little bit of a vibration happening on my end. Oh, the heater came on. Okay, hang on a sec. Sorry. There we go. I had to isolate the mic a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna do the case of the pilfered phone for our first mystery
The
tonight.
pilfered phone. Yes, yes, yes.
Unless you want
The
to jump
famous
around a
pilfered
bit,
phone.
but I
Yes.
think it's better. I think it really doesn't matter, but I think it's easier tracking if we just go straight down. What do you think?
Just do them in order. That's
All
fine.
right,
Yep.
pilfered phone.
Yeah, just do them in order. That's fine.
So we're going to the case of the
The
pilfered
pilfered
phone.
phone. Yes. A phone that was pilfered. Yeah. Man, must be nice just to hang out in the attic all day.
It's starting
Sit
with a
around on your
telephone
90s
call this
computer.
time, so you get to start it off instead of me this time.
Oh, it's a telephone call. Okay, let me see what I can do here.
Say, Uncle and Jake. No, hate to bother you, but I'm here at the old Vic Theatre and our telephone's disappeared.
Oh, is that so,
How's he
Nigel?
calling you?
Yeah. Is that so, Nigel? If the phone's gone, then what are you using to call us? You'll have to be more clever than that to fool me.
It's valid.
No, Jake, the theatre's phone is still here, but we were using a little portable phone as a prop in our play, and now it's gone.
Oh, me again.
And Askew is sure that someone's stolen it, but why would anyone bother? It's ominous, Jake. I think you and Uncle should come down here right away.
If you insist, Nigel, we'll see you at the old Vic Theatre.
No, actually, Gay Goodbow and I are heading to Covent Garden. After you talk to Anna Skew here at the Old Vic, come join us there. Bye-bye now.
All right, so we're gonna get the.
That's my.
So we're gonna start at
voice.
the theater. This is one case.
Oi, oi.
This is one case that so far I don't remember. There's Anna Skew, and boy does she look steamed. Let's ask her about the missing phone.
Steamed and possibly fried. Oh, is this me again? Can't remember what I did for her voice. I volunteered to be the property manager for the children's theater program this summer. That means I take care of all the properties, or props, as we say in the industry, used in the plays, and Nigel was helping me. For an actor to steal one of the props, why, it's unheard of. We don't even have eBay yet.
Who are the suspects, Miss Askew?
In the play Bad Science, the sequel to Weird Science, the American film, Three of the actors pretend to use the phone: Ian Knight, Aaron Childs, and Gay Goodbow. Any of them could have pocketed the phone at the end of the last act. It's Nigel's job to collect the props after the play's over. He's the one who told me the phone was missing, but perhaps he just took it instead. So he's also a suspect. The worst part is the phone doesn't belong to the theatre. Emma Finley, an actress here, loaned it to me. It was the real thing, not a cheap plastic toy. Very generous of her. And now I've gone and lost it.
Don't worry, Miss Askew. We'll find Emma's phone, no problem. Do you know where Ian, Aaron, and the other suspects have gone?
1 second. As far as what drink do you make? Responding to chat. Something with an English flair, perhaps. I don't know what that would be. Something with a gimlet. I don't know. I don't know what a gimlet is. I think Mr. Tantrum, Mr. Tantrum is his name. Oh wow. Okay. Mr. Tantrum, the drama teacher, has sent them out on assignments. You should ask him where they are. This time of day, he can usually be found at the common room at the University of London.
And do you know where we can find Emma Finley?
Have you tried London? Drop by the Wax Museum. I think she's working on a costume there.
And we have a first clue here. Nigel's clipboard holds his check-off list of props for the play Bad Science. All of the props are checked off but one: cellular phone. So I think we should talk to the drama teacher first, and the phone's owner first, second, and then go interview the suspects. So we're going to the University of London right now, and we're gonna meet this guy. Wow, he's exhausted. That's Nigel's drama teacher.
And he's drunk.
Yeah, that's Nigel's drama teacher, Mr. Tantrum. That's
you drunk.
That's kind of how I felt for most of the day.
Have I done this guy's voice? Is he
no,
new now?
No, he's new. He's new, but I think he shows up in other theater cases later. But this is the first time we're seeing him in our playthrough.
Johnny Black, very nice. I am bereft of booze tonight. I've got a Baja Blast here, and that's it. But it's fine. Yeah, I ran out of time today. Let's see, what should I do for this guy? English drama guy. Ms. Askew rang and asked me about... That's more of Matt Berry, and I've already used him for something else. I'll use Matt Berry for two things, I don't care. Ms. Askew rang and asked me about the missing telephone. I think it's simply rotten. Oh, Tim Curry, got it. Ms. Askew rang and asked me about the missing telephone. I think it's simply rotten. People. You can't trust them. They have smiling, honest faces, right? And then they go and do something like this.
Anne Askew said Aaron, Ian, Gay, or Nigel could have taken the phone. Do you know where they are now?
Well, Aaron, Ian and Gay are all actors in the play, so I sent them out to observe people. Aaron is at Parliament. I sent Ian to the Ritz Hotel. Gay went to Covent Garden. There are always some interesting characters there. Personally, I don't think any of them took it. Why would they? I think Anna Skew lost it herself and is trying to blame it on someone else. How do you know when an actor like Anne is telling the truth, or when she's acting?
So we have 5 suspects now. I don't know, Mr. Tantrum. You're the drama teacher.
Mr. Tantrum. Why, yes, I suppose you're right. And after all, when are we really being ourselves, and when are we acting? If I say, what a gorgeous new coat you have, and I really think it's ugly, am I acting or is it real life? If I say, your hair looks like someone.
Excuse me, Mr. Tantrum, but I'm afraid we have to go. Thanks very much for talking with us. Sheesh, why do some drama people always have to be so dramatic? But now we need to figure out how to get to Parliament. Let's check our map of London. So, map question, that would be me. Which direction do we need to go to? Alright, let me open my map, which of course you can't see on the Twitch screen because it's... But All right.
Yeah.
And let me pull up the other map because remember, there's two maps in the game, and I have to zoom way in. We are at the University of London, and we need to go to Parliament, which is very slightly east, but way south. I'm gonna try southeast.
All right, I'm putting a file on my phone to help me keep track of these
Hold on.
people's name or
I misclicked because I
impressions or
was
whatever
I
it
was
I'm doing.
clicking back into from the map, and I clicked on the wrong box. That's why I had to click through his dialogue again to get back here. Okay, so
So
it
that
doesn't.
was Mr. Tantrum, right?
Yeah, so it didn't like my southeast, but I'm staring at this map. Do we want to go straight south then? If it didn't like southeast, we've already done all that dialogues. That's
Uh,
basically
half that broke up, so I couldn't hear it.
right. The Houses of Parliament are in the old Palace of Westminster, right here on the bank of the Thames River south of here. You can almost hear Big Ben from here. Come on, let's go. And now let me minimize the map till we need it again. And I'm now back in the game window again. So we can go back to the main game map. And so
What was Uncle's name? The main one of the main characters. What was Uncle's name?
Uncle Basil, Nigel's dad.
Basil. That's right. Okay.
We're going to go to the Wax Museum first and interview the phone's owner. And we have met Emma Finley before in other theater cases. Looks like Miss Dunbar is helping Emma Finley with a new costume. It looks great. Emma, did you hear? Your cell phone is missing down at the Old Vic Theater.
All right. Emma Finley. Hang on a second. I have to make notes to keep track of this because I don't remember what voices I've done for these people.
We have seen this one
What
before.
was hers? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I did for her. Whoa, big echo from your end. It may have cleared up. Yes, Jake, I heard. I do hope it'll turn up soon. It's not a really expensive phone or anything, but I needed to keep in touch with my friend Amy. All right, hang on a sec. All right. She's a really busy person, so we use the phone to chat whenever she's got a moment. I have a personal phone number stored in the phone, so I just have to touch the button, and voila, I ring right through.
And we've seen her before also.
Oh, Emma, we can tell. Yeah. We can. Is that Salem? Oh, hey, Salem. What's up, buddy? You're in early tonight. Oh, Emma, we can tell Uncle and Jake everything, I think. They are detectives, after all. I'm sure they can be trusted.
You bet, Miss
I
Dunbar.
think I'm trying to make her Caribbean or something.
You bet, Miss Dunbar. So what's the big secret?
Man, I wish we could do all these together
Okay.
at the same time because I had a much better voice for her. Hang on. Yes, Salem, I hear you. I can't go right now. I don't know if you can hear Salem yowling in the background.
The plot
Well,
thickens with your
children,
next
my
bit of
friend
dialogue.
Amy.
What?
What's that?
The plot is about
What'd
to
you say?
The plot is about to thicken. We're about to get a motive.
All right. Okay, Salem. Well, children, my friend Amy is the famous movie star Amy Jolana. We met on the set of her last movie, Crimston's. Oh, man. Let me start over on this. That was terrible. Well, children, my friend Amy is the famous movie star Amy Jolana. We met on the set of her last movie. Oh, I did her as Australian. I think. I did somebody as Australian. I think it was her. I'm going to do her as Australian. She's Australian now. Salem, he's bumping the mic. What are you doing? Well, children, my friend Amy is a famous movie star, Amy Jolana. We met on the set of her latest movie, Crimson Sails, and really hit it off. She's such a smashing person. I love joking with her. Hopefully, Emma will be chosen to act with Amy Johanna again in a new movie, Indigo Star. We're putting together a marvelous costume to help her win the audition.
So they're twins now?
What?
You just read that in the same voice. This is the other lady.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no, I know. I was trying to change it, but I did. That wasn't Australian, or it shouldn't have been. I'm trying to do three things at once here.
All right, let's keep going. Hey, that's really exciting. Did anyone
Yeah.
besides you know that your phone contains Amy Jelana's personal telephone number?
All right.
Oh,
No,
well,
I don't think so. Except Amy did ring me once when I was helping Gay goodbye up some stairs in the theatre. I rang Amy back when we were inside, so Gay's the only one who could know.
hmm. Okay, so already I got ideas, but we have to interview we have to interview the suspects, due process and all that. So
All
we're
right.
gonna go to the Ritz Hotel
Yep.
to start, and then we'll go to Parliament, and then we'll go to Covent Garden where Nigel and Gay are. Ian Knight is here with Abigail Apuru. They're watching the people come and go here in the Ritz Hotel. Um, you okay there?
Who, me?
Yeah. You're
Yeah, no, I
you're
gave
kind of off
Salem a treat.
camera.
Fun.
All right. So
Yes, I know. I was giving a Salem treat.
All right. I'll restart the scene. Ian Knight is here with Abigail Apuru. They're watching the people come and go here in the Ritz Hotel. These guys are new in this case. I think we see them again later, but they're like minor recurring characters.
Okay, your mic is failing like every other word.
Showing fine on my
Just
end.
just go on to the next line. It's fine. Yeah, just go on to the next line.
So Ian and Abigail are new characters. They're minor characters, but I'm sure we'll see them again later.
Okay, dude, just real quick, that whatever you just said, it was silent for a good 10 seconds. You got some kind of something going on that end.
Um, my audio tested fine. Hold on.
Yeah.
You might get the
Well,
echo
we
chamber
can
again.
keep. I think it's something to do with your bandwidth.
All right, testing.
Okay, I think it's. I don't think it's anything with your. Hey, Evie, yo,
Yeah,
Evie.
yeah.
I don't think it's anything to do with your settings or the app or anything. I don't think it's internal. I think it's a bandwidth thing. So we can talk about it later. Let's just keep going. So this is Ian. Ian's new, right?
Yeah, Ian and Abigail, who's with him, who I'm not sure if she talks or not, but there she's new also.
All right, I don't know what to do for Ian. Let's see. Trying to think of all the English impressions that I used to. I'll just do him as RP also. Let's do that. Okay. We were just talking about Amy Jolana, the star of stars. Abigail tells me she stayed here in this very hotel when they were filming Crimson Sails at Elstree Studios. I'd kill to have a chance to meet her someday and chat. Elstree is a real place. It's where part of Star Wars was shot, I believe. Maybe you should kiss the sidewalk in front of the entrance, Ian. I'm sure she walked on it. Ian's quite bonkers over Amy Jolana. Uncle, as I'm sure you have... Amy Jolana, Uncle, as I'm sure you and Jake have noticed. Oh, what? That was terrible.
Nigel told us a prop is missing from your play, the cell phone. Ian, can you remember the last time you saw it?
Yeah, I remember Emma now. She was almost SpongeBob. There we go. Well, of course, I used it in the play. When Dr. Sullivan, that's Gay Goodbow, makes her great discovery, her hands are shaking so much I have to ring her assistant for her. I go, Eureka, Eureka, the doctor's found the cure. Salem? No, it's not Salem. All right. Then Gay keels over dead. She's found the cure too late to save herself. It's really quite sad. Everybody cries. And then I set the phone down on the table, and it's supposed to stay there until Nigel collects it with the other props. You know, after rehearsal, I saw you telling Gay something, Ian. She sure seemed happy to hear it. What was all that about, eh? Oh, she's Canadian. Oh, nothing. She just wanted me to... Oh, nothing. She just wanted to meet me later, that's all. Said she had a big surprise for me. I said, I bet you do. And I would. Ian, if I didn't know you better, I'd think maybe you're sweet on Gail. Look, you're blushing. I think this is going to be a happy surprise for her.
Okay. So, yeah. We're
I'm
going to
headbanging to
Parliament.
lo-fi.
This will be our first. This will be our first visit to Parliament on this playthrough, but not the last. I should have known that Aaron would be hanging out with his buddy Felix. Those guys are never apart. I think we met these guys one time before, and they worked together last time too. Hey, Aaron and Felix, did you guys hear? The cell phone is missing from the Old Vic Theater.
Oh, come on. Hang on. Aaron and Felix.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having to make notes. There's too many characters in this thing. Standard. No, wait, I went with, I think I went with Cockney for them. Oh my, I bet you Aaron's nicked it. He's mad to be a walkie-talkie man. Oh yes, that'd be monumentally cool. Totally Jurassic to ring your mum up from the vid arcade. On my way home now, mum. Oh yes. I'd like to give my drama teacher, Mr. Tantrum, a ring. Say, afraid I can't make school today, Mr. Tantrum. I'm home in bed, most deadly ill. Flowers drooping on the nightstand. Just like E.T. And actually, you're with me at the cricket ground, watching Derbyshire smash Kent. Oh, you're wicked, mate.
So you'd really like to own a cell phone, Aaron? When was the last time you saw the one at the theater?
I used it in the first act. That's the wrong voice. I used it in the first act. Miss Sullivan, there's trouble in the lab. Come down here immediately. Then I put the phone down and never touch it again. I don't want a cellular phone, really. If my mate Felix don't have one, then it's no good, is it? A phone's only cool if you have someone cool to ring up.
Yeah. Or several people cool to ring up. So we're going to Covent Garden now to meet the last couple
Yay.
suspects.
Yay.
There's Nigel. He's people watching here at the Covent Garden Mall with his friends Gay and Dorothea. Nigel,
So many characters.
Nigel, we heard you were the one who noticed this cell phone was missing.
Right. I looked all over the stage for it, but it was nowhere to be found. Quite mysterious, really.
Did you think of calling the phone from somewhere else? You can listen for it to ring. That way, if it's still in the theater, you can figure out where it is. That's how my mom finds her cell phone at home sometimes.
What a clever... Wait, he's not Cockney. What a clever idea. But it won't work with this phone, I'm afraid. We turned off the ringer, see, so it won't buzz during the play. If someone tried to call Emma Finley, that could ruin the performance. The phone has numbers stored in it, so you can ring up other people with just the push of a button. We're under strict orders not to do that, though. We just pretend to use the phone in the play. Yeah.
Actually, I think you're dropping out a little bit of audio too, so it may just be a bandwidth.
Yeah, internet weather. Let's face it, a cellular phone's cool, but it's a dumb thing to steal. Once we tell the phone company it's missing, they'll make sure the phone never works again. It'll be worthless. Somebody must have had a special reason to nick it, if it was stolen at all. I don't know what her voice is.
We met
I
her
just got
before.
here. Yeah, okay. I
We
can't
met
remember
both of
what I
them
did
before. They were with Nigel and one of the other things.
Yeah, no, I recognize him. I just can't remember what voice I did. I just got here myself. What's all this about stolen telephone?
It's a real cell phone, Dorothea, being used as a prop in the summer play Bad Science. After today's rehearsal, it was missing. We're trying to figure out who took it and why.
Bad science, science, science. Plastic tubes and pots and pans, bits and pieces, and the magic from my hands were making bad science. Well, good luck. I certainly don't think Nigel would have taken it. Spence, I don't know what I did for her voice. He spends quite enough time on the phone as it is, ringing round to all his chums. We can't talk long, Uncle. Nigel and I are going off to see a show. Gay wants to stay here to meet Ian Knight. Don't tell her I said so, but it's obvious she's dead soft on Ian.
Soft on him? What do you mean?
Oh, she fancies him. Got a bit of a crush on our Ian has, Gay, and I think he's trying to impress her too. At any rate, I'm off. Mustn't be late for our show.
Okay, I think I know what's going on here, but we still have one more suspect to talk to.
I'm doing very poorly tonight. I can't get these voices. I don't know what the deal is.
You're
Who's
doing
this
well. You're
person? Have we
doing better
talked to
than
them
I am.
before?
You're doing better than I am.
Hang on. This is Gay Goodbow. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, give me a second. I'm making note of these. This is what I did wrong last time. I didn't make any notes as to what I was doing for these crazy people. I don't know. I'm not good with British female voices. Oh, I'm being asked, what are we drinking tonight, Brett? And my answer is, I don't know. What do you have? That's the big question. What do you have handy? That's what you're drinking. I, for example, am drinking a Baja Blast. I need to get some tequila. On break, I'll grab some tequila. That'll work. They'll make my own little tequila Rita or whatever. Anyway, back to the voices. During the play, I pretend to use... That's an old person. During the play, I pretend to use the phone. In the middle of the second act, when the lab catches fire, I use it to ring the fire department. In England, if there's an emergency, you dial 999. Also in Germany.
In the United States, you dial 911 or 0 to talk to the operator in an emergency.
Comedy. Ian Knight plays a fireman. He's really very good. My character is really upset by the fire, but he tells me, "Chin up, old girl. You mustn't give up." Ian uses the phone in the third act. Then he sets it down on a table. That's the last anyone saw of it today. I suppose anyone in the play could have picked it up after that.
Okay, now I'm not so sure. Let's make sure we got all the clues. We did, so let's go back to the scene of the crime to try and solve this thing. So I think Ian was end of the third act, right? So he got, well, Gay knew that the phone had Jelana's phone number. Ian may have seen the phone in the phone, but Gay's the only one who knew, but Ian handles the phone after her, so he would have been the last one to see the phone. Either way, one of them nicked it to show the other, so it's either Ian or Gay. Let's look at the clues.
I'll take your word for it. I have been paying no attention to any facts or mysteries or anything therein. I've just been trying to figure out voices
All right,
to this
so
whole piece.
let's go through the clues.
Oh my.
We know it's not Nigel. He's the one who noticed it was missing. The cell phone has some
Plus,
numbers
he's our
stored in
boy,
it.
so.
All right.
Go ahead. I was just interrupting to say, plus he's our boy.
All right, we're looking through the list here.
one of
Ian
the
Knight
crew.
handles the telephone during the third and final act. That suggests that he is that suggests that he is the last one to have handled the phone.
Yeah.
Gay Goodbow. Gay has a crush on Ian, and Dorothea thinks Ian likes Gay too.
I don't think that would be anything.
No.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
It's going to be a thing, I think. Emma Finley.
Okay.
Gay is the only person who knew that the cell phone could be used to call Jelana directly. We know it's not Aaron because he only handles it in the first act. Ian Knight is a big fan. Okay, so we think it is going to be gay, and she nicked it after the rehearsal before Nigel did his check. That's what I'm going with. Is
Okay.
that what you think?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
these clues point to Gay knowing that Amy is on the phone, and she wants to surprise him. So I think
All right. That all sounds reasonable. So I'm just gonna say go with that because I
so.
really have no idea.
So Ian is a
I'm
big
reading, not
fan of Amy
thinking.
Jelana and would love to get the chance to speak with her. And Gay told Ian to meet her later at Covent Garden because she had a big surprise for him.
There we go. Yep.
So it's
That was it.
so
So it's gay.
yeah, it's Gay who took the phone after rehearsal before Nigel made his rounds. And she's going to
And
surprise
the
Ian.
beefeater shows up in a restaurant, takes her to the dungeon. That's where you're going out later.
And she's dead.
You got it. It was Gay who took the phone to impress her friend Ian. Sometimes people do foolish things in the name of love. Gay had a crush on Ian Knight, her co-star in the play Bad Science, so she wanted to do something big to impress him. She knew he was totally fascinated by the film star Amy Jelana, so when she saw Emma Finley call up Amy from the cell phone, she got an idea. And side note, I think Amy actually does come to London for one case in the second case book. So we'll see her in a couple months, probably. After the play, she'd borrow the phone. Nobody would see her take it from the table where Ian set it down. Then later, she'd use the phone to let Ian talk to his idol, Amy Jelana. Gay could take it back the next morning and no one would ever know. But Anne and Nigel saw that the phone was missing. We discovered that the only thing special about this phone was one of the private numbers stored on it. And only one of the suspects knew how special that phone number was, Gay Goodbow.
Sounds like an open and shut case. Bad Science, the sequel to Bad Romance. To respect you and me, we got a bad science. Am I supposed to read this? What are we doing?
You do the scrapbooks, remember?
All right. I don't know. I don't know who wrote this note. It says, "Dear Uncle and Jake."
It doesn't matter. You're reading it in your scrapbook voice that you do at the end of the case.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Dear Uncle and Jake, Emma told me how helpful you were in recovering her phone. I can't thank you enough for keeping my secret phone number a secret. If people, that's Basil's voice. I'll just read it my normal voice. Dear Uncle and Jake, Emma told me how helpful you were in recovering her phone. I can't thank you enough for keeping my secret phone number a secret. Oh, this is the Star Lady. Okay. If people had learned what that number was, I would get no rest day or night. Please accept the enclosed. Looks like tickets to a music show or something. Backlot passes for Elstree Studios. Emma and I hope you can come spend the day with us as we film our new movie, Indigo Star. Bring your camera. Yours very truly, Amy.
All right, so we're gonna go into mystery 2, and
Let's do it.
seeing as that one we did a bit slower than we usually do, I think the second mystery will take us right up to the hour mark in our first break.
All right, that sounds good.
I'm good for
Yeah, that first one. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm good for way more, for at least a few more than 2, but I think an
Yeah.
hour is a good. I think hourly is a good place to break and assess.
Yeah, because I need to refresh my drink and do some various things. So yeah,
So
that
we're
works.
gonna do.
And sorry, I was just gonna say sorry for the delays. I'm trying to make notes. I should have done this last week. I'm trying to make notes on how I'm doing these voices because I can't remember which voice I did for what. So I think I've got everybody that I've done tonight. I think. So we'll go on.
Case of the Ancient Armor.
The ancient armor.
So we're gonna start with either someone's gonna call or come to the door. Phone call. Okay. Aunt Miranda,
Ring-a-ding.
you're up.
Okay. Jake, how would you and Uncle like to meet me here at Snootby's? Jake, how would you and Uncle like to meet me here at Snootby's? I've got a great lead on a story, and it seems just the sort of thing you two sleuths would enjoy.
Sure thing, Aunt M.
Tasteless.
What's the scoop?
Tasteless. Count von Coburg, one of the wealthiest men in Germany, recently bought a king's suit of armor for nearly £1,000,000. He says if anyone can prove which king owned the armor, he'll donate it to that king's castle.
Sounds like a job for Eagle Eyes. We'll be right there. So this is another one of those historic missions, like the castle one uh, on the last episode.
These guys are like DoorDash for crime.
We're going to
Model
Snoopy's.
bus.
Snoopy's, I think, is the auction house. We see it again later.
Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to be Sotheby's. All right.
Wow, that must be the suit of armor Aunt Miranda told us about. How cool. It must have been intense to live in those days and go jousting and stuff. This guy's German, if you'll remember the introduction, so.
Yep.
I think he's a one-off.
Perfect peace, knight.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
I think he's a one-off, but he may recur again in the second book.
I'm going to make a note just in case I forget he's German. With von Coburg as a name that might be a little harder to forget, but still. I'm going to put all caps. German! Exclamation. He's super German.
Ah, a perfect peace, nine. And the bidding, such ferocity, such passion. But I outbid them all. Haha. You know, we Germans were some of the first masters of armory. This suit is the work of a great master. Look at the metalwork, the etching that decorates the metal. It is the finest I have ever seen.
If you like the armor so much, why are you going to donate it to one of the castles, Count?
If you like the armor so much, why don't you marry it?
Ah, it is not the having of a thing. It is the acquisition of a thing. The thing is mine to do with as I will, nine.
I am spitting everywhere.
I will return it to the castle to which it belongs. Then I will begin the search for my next treasure.
We see him again, but he's like a minor character.
Harry Parker?
He's
Oh, Harry Parker. Okay.
I think he's the auction guy.
All right, hang on. He looks like Richard Branson, so I might try to do that. But then I haven't heard Richard Branson in a long time, so no, not Brandon. There we go. God, what did Richard Branson sound like? I say did like he's dead. He's not dead. Richard Branson.
A splendid piece, really splendid. But dash it, the previous owner had no information whatsoever as to its origins. It was part of an inheritance he received from a distant and somewhat mysterious relative. I did notice the inscription Henry Rex on the collar. That's Latin for Henry the King, so obviously the suit was fashioned for a King Henry. But the question is, which Henry?
Harry Parker.
We've had 8 King Henrys here in England, you know. The suit's design is complex enough that we can rule out any king before 1400. But that leaves Henrys the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Frankly, I can never keep those Harrys straight myself. I suppose one just has to get used to their numbers. We usually refer to kings and queens of the same name with a Roman numeral. So Henry the 5th is Henry the 5th.
This would make no sense speaking it out in dialogue.
So Henry the 5th is Henry the 5th, Henry the 6th is Henry the 6th, Henry the 7th is Henry 7, and Henry the 8th is Henry 8.
I guess is how you would.
Yeah, whatever. I imagine the beefeaters at the Tower of London Armory might be of some help. Some of them are absolute wizards on ancient arms.
Let's look at the armor itself. The suit of armor that Count von Coburg purchased is about 6 feet tall, quite broad, and made of light, ornately engraved metal. The arms and legs of the suit are embossed with intricate patterns of gold and silver. Etched cleverly into the cuff of a gauntlet is the word Holbein. Holbein, that doesn't sound Latin. I wonder what it means.
Sounds like you two might have to pop around the library at the British Museum and hit the books if you want to crack this case.
I know exactly what Holbein means, but I don't want to spoil the rest of the case, so let's go on.
You can go to Victoria Station for the train if you want to explore outside of London. But remember, Uncle Basil and I expect you and Uncle home in time for tea.
All right.
If you
Let's.
want to crack the case, you'll need to go to the library. If you want to smoke some crack, you'll need to go behind the
We'll
library.
start at the Tower of London.
The Tower of London was originally built by William the Conqueror in 1066. It served as the site of the Royal Menagerie, Royal Observatory, and Mint, as well as being a residence for every English monarch from William I to Henry VIII. The towers housed many accused traitors as they awaited execution, including Sir Walter Raleigh and Anne Boleyn.
All right. Hey, we've seen him before. This is Mr. Hargreaves from that tutorial mystery.
Is he the beefeater guy?
Yeah, he's a beefeater guy.
Okay, I think I remember what I did for
I
him.
could spend weeks here checking out the cool swords and stuff. Jennifer goes nuts over the old suits of armor. I bet we can learn something about Count von Coburg's suit here.
I'm writing down Mr. Hargreaves here. I think I remember his. 1 second. All right.
I know. Oh,
The
by
tower's
the way,
been the site of the Royal Armories.
keep going.
What?
Keep going.
Well, no, what were you going to say? I'll start over.
I was gonna say I know exactly which King Henry we're dealing with already, but we still got to play the game the way it's meant to be played.
Yep. All right. The tower's been the site of the Royal Armories for hundreds of years. Most of the suits of armor we have here are older than your country, lad. Upstarts. Armor's changed a great deal since the first thick leather greatcoats. Those protected the soldiers a bit against arrows and sword blows, but not very well. In the 1300s, smiths learned to make coats of tightly meshed iron rings called mail. Now that was a charm. Mail was flexible, so you could move round, but strong enough to keep out arrows and even daggers.
Wow, that would have been great. You could be safe inside your chainmail even when people were shooting arrows at you.
Oh, hey, Pirate Jet, what's up? Hey, I haven't been on Shinobu stream in a while. I've been busy at work for varying reasons, but yeah, glad to see you. Howdy. I'm doing bad English accents. Let's have some more. Yes, but soon axes and maces came on the battlefield, and mail wasn't much good against the heavy blows. So armorers in the days of Henry V, around the year 1400, invented ways of making metal into hard protective plates. Those were molded into full suits of plate armor you see in films. Wearing one must have felt a bit like being a sardine in a can. But inside you were safe from the sharpest swords and even light musket balls. The bullets fired by the first guns. We are having a good evening so far. It's gotten better. We started a little rough, but it's gotten much better. I'm proud to say we've got some of the finest examples of plate armor here at the tower. Some of our most splendid were made for King Henry VIII in the early 1500s. How's your evening going, Pirate? Henry was a great big bully of a man, fierce and arrogant. Even when he was too old and ill to fight, he had his craftsmen at the Royal Armour Workshop make him marvellous new suits of armour. They had to be specially designed to fit his bulky frame.
Okay, one moment. Let me check my OBS real quick. Yeah, I'm still going good. Alright, we're good to go. Alright, let's look
Cool.
at the armor
I have-
example.
I have 0 dropped frames so far, by the way, just FYI.
This armor is marked Renaissance armor. It's really fancy. Every piece is decorated with gold designs. But where's the shield?
With armor like this, you wouldn't need a shield, Jake. Your armor shields your whole body. You'd want to keep your hands free to carry a sword. Some of the swords are so big you needed 2 hands to swing them. Finally getting to relax a little after a very stressful past 3 weeks. Oh boy. I know exactly what you are talking about, and I've got another week to go before I can say the same. There's another week of
The,
Insanity. We'll see what happens.
the suits of armor seem kind of small. Were they made for kids?
No, not these suits. These were for grown men. But people were a bit smaller in those days. They weren't as healthy either. Hundreds of years ago, people weren't able to get fresh fruits and veg as readily as we do now. They didn't eat as well, so the average person didn't get as big as the average person now. And they didn't live as long either.
Okay. We're gonna go to the
I'm a
British
map.
Museum.
Buy my map, buy my map, buy my map.
I'm on a bus. I'm on a bus. Take a good hard look at the double-decker bus.
The British Library has some of the coolest old books and manuscripts in the world. Mr. Sneed will probably help us sort them out, but he can be pretty testy.
Mr. Sneed, I got him.
Yes, what is it?
Sorry to bother you, Mr. Sneed, but we're trying to do some research on the kings of England.
Oh, and I'm just meant to stop everything and stock up on the history of Britain for you.
Oh, not really, that's okay. We can do our own research.
What, and have you scrabbling through my precious volumes? I think not. Anyway, Miranda said you'd be coming, so I took a moment to set aside the best of our history collection for you. It's over there.
Thanks, Mr. Sneed. You're awesome.
Yeah. Yes, now just stay quiet. I'm nearly through cataloging our new collection of Dr. Seuss sketches, and I must have some peace.
Green eggs. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Which,
I think I'd rather have some spam.
as long as the spam is green, like the green eggs and ham and spam.
One could probably arrange that.
Anyway.
I have food coloring. Have food coloring will travel.
All those Henrys. Without my notebook, I'd never keep them straight. If some kings were good and some were bad, why didn't people just fire the bad ones?
What a perfectly American question. Kings aren't voted into office like a president or a member of the House of Commons. A king gained his throne by conquering enemies in battle, or simply because he was born into the right family. Our English monarchs passed down the crown to their firstborn son, or to the eldest daughter if they had no sons. Not a very scientific way of selecting a ruler, if you ask me. Sometimes a new king was just not suited to rule. Too sickly, too cocky, or perhaps just altogether too thick. What you might call stupid. Unfortunately, the people he ruled were stuck with him unless someone overthrew him. In a democracy like your United States, the president doesn't just inherit his office. He has to earn the support of the people who vote for him. If he doesn't, they'll vote for someone they think would be a better leader. Now, let me get back to Seuss, and keep quiet. This is a library. Uncivilized colonists.
Don't worry about
It's funny
Mr.
he's Scottish.
Don't worry about Mr. Sneed. Uncle Basil and he are great pals from way back. He might be the crabby type, but he knows just where to find anything about anything. And look, we have 4 books to look at here.
Are you doing the books or?
Well, I mean, unless a character appears.
Yeah.
But in this case, these are just images of historic figures in textbooks, so. Henry VII ruled England from 1485 to 1509. He was the head of the Lancaster family, and he ended the War of the Roses by marrying Elizabeth of York. This united the 2 warring families under a new name, Tudor.
In the small town of York, Pennsylvania, right down the road is Lancaster, and we have White Rose everything. Like there's a White Rose Cafe, White Rose this, White Rose that. It's all over the place. Anyway, continue.
Henry's diplomacy and sense of justice brought order and security to England. He established many treaties and policies that allowed England to prosper under his reign.
Live long and prosper.
Henry V lived from 1387 to 1422. He is featured in several of Shakespeare's historical plays, but was a much more serious young man than Shakespeare made him out to be. Henry successfully commanded the English army when he was only 16. As he grew older, he became a great soldier and politician. In 1415, he conquered the north of France at the Battle of Agincourt. Henry VIII ruled England from 1509 to 1547. In his quest to have a son who could inherit his throne, he got married a total of 6 times. There's a
And
musical
he's
about
got a really cool song.
there's a
Yeah.
musical about the wives called Six, which turns the wives into like a rock diva concert.
Yeah, and he's also got that song that was before the play. I am Henry VIII, I am, or whatever it is. I don't know.
When the Pope didn't
Something
allow
like
him to
that.
divorce his first wife, Henry VIII broke the England's old ties with the Church of Rome and named himself supreme head of his own church, the Church of England. To be rid of 2 of his
Good of
later
him.
wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, he had them beheaded at the Tower of London. Henry's surviving
Wow.
children all had the chance to wear the crown. The short-lived Edward VI, Mary I, and the great Elizabeth I.
Wow, that is hardcore. You can't get a divorce, so you have your wives beheaded.
Henry
Jeez
VI
Louise.
was the son of Henry V. He became King of England and France in 1422, before he was even 1 year old. When he grew up, it turned out that, unlike his father, he was not qualified to rule. His weakness and madness led to a civil war in England. The War of the Roses between Henry's family, the Lancasters, and a rival family, the Yorks, began in 1455. During this bloody civil war, Henry lost the throne to Edward IV and won it back 9 years later, only to lose it again within the year. Henry
Another
VI.
fun thing on that is the Lancasters and the Yorks. They have a modern sort of callback to them with the Lannisters and the Starks on Game of Thrones. Henry took the same route as Bender.
Henry VI was at last imprisoned and murdered in the Tower of London in 1471. The House of York then took over the English throne. So we've got our little bit of background on the 4 kings. Now I guess we have to go to their castles. So we are going to Victoria Station.
Yeah, Pirate says Henry took the same route as Bender, starting his own church. I can't do a good Bender, but I'm gonna start my own church with blackjack, hookers.
All right. Aunt Miranda says that exploring some castles might help us discover which king owned Count von Coburg's armor. Which one do we want to visit first? I'll let you choose, Windsor or Hampton.
I'll go with Windsor. I'm laughing because Pirate Jet completed the line, I'll make my own church with beheadings and something.
Excuse me a moment.
That was good. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. All right, what
That's
where
all right.
were
I
we
was
going?
just jamming out to the.
We were about to
lo-fi
go to
music here.
Windsor, right? I think we were about to go to Windsor.
I think we went Windsor. Yeah, I think so.
I think this is the castle that we went to for like one line of dialogue in the tutorial mission. Let's see. The train we want runs east and west. This is a map question. Let me consult my map. So we are in London.
Windsor Castle. That's the English themed pizza place, right?
Yeah. We have to go slightly west. We have to go slightly
Slightly
west.
Slightly less. Got it. Spectacular Windsor Castle is the largest inhabited castle in the world. A royal lodging since the 12th century, the castle is also the burial site of several monarchs. Queen Elizabeth II and the royal family are quite often in residence.
All right, that was a 1 page, so let's go in.
All right.
Wow, Windsor Castle is huge. I bet we could spend a week here and still not see everything. We'll have to hurry, though, since Aunt Miranda wants us back in time for tea.
Look at the tapestries.
Okay, she's new, but I think we see her again later in other Windsor
Ms.
mysteries.
Preswick. All right, hang on. Let me make a note of Ms. Preswick.
She looks like an older lady. The intelligent type.
Let's see. I wonder, should I go with like a. Would Julia Childs be too much for her?
Probably not.
Because I don't know. Alright. Swim school, the great vestibule. The swords and firearms you see on the walls were all used at one time or another. Oh dear, you are here for the tour, aren't you?
Sorry, we don't have time today. We're trying to find information on some of the King Henrys. Can you help us?
Well, sure. It's about the Henrys, although most of them lived here at Windsor Castle at one time or another. Henry VI is buried here in St. George's Chapel.
Can you tell us anything about the armor that any of the King Henrys wore?
Oh, well, wouldn't you rather ask about some of the fine masterpieces of art we have here in the castle? I'm really much more familiar with that subject. For example, this painting here is a portrait of Charles I by his court painter Van Dyck. Note the proud bearing of the horse, the bold brush strokes in his Majesty's beard, the expensive frame. I'm not sure if that's any help at all, but sometimes court painters did more than portraits for their king. Some were commissioned to do the decorative etching on suits of armor and such, and some merely cleaned the gum out from beneath the royal throne.
Wow, I guess that's logical. Someone who was a good painter might be good at engraving beautiful patterns on metal too. Go on, Mrs. Presswick.
Please talk more. The court painter was usually the king's favorite artist, the finest of his time. The portraits they produced are some of my favorites. They really give us insight into the monarch's life and times.
Okay. And like I told you, I knew from the very first scene what the answer was on this one. But we still have one more castle to visit before the game will let us actually solve it.
I knew we would be on a train.
Alright. Hampton Court is pretty close by. It's the palace that Henry VIII took over from Cardinal Wolsey. So this is specifically Henry VIII's palace.
All right. Hampton Court, the ground palace. Ground palace, good grief. Take two. Hampton Court, the ground palace of Henry VIII, lies a few miles up the Thames River from London. Surrounded by sumptuous gardens, the palace includes the luxurious royal apartments of William III, the Grand Royal Chapel, and Henry VIII's Great Hall. This is BBC World Service. The time at the tone will be 11:21.
This
PM.
looks more like a palace than a castle. The guidebook says that this is where Henry VIII lived. Let's hurry up and see if we can find any clues. We don't have much time if we want to get back to London before tea time. We've seen him before. He seems to pop up in all the odd places. This is Mr. Friscora.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull my music down just a hair. Oh, not that. The volume controls are so touchy on this. 1 second. Gotta click this on, like, basically the exact pixel to get the volume level I want. I'll just leave it there. It's fine. Okay. Mr. Frescura, what did I do for him? Do you remember?
He was the guy who was the actor for Macbeth and the Shakespeare one, and then he appeared again a little bit later. I forget in what role, but
Okay.
he's basically one of the random citizens guys.
All right, I'll just go with the English actor, I guess. Jake, uncle, come to admire the palace? These paintings are by Antonio Verrio. Verrio? That's right. Antonio Verrio, an Italian painter hired by William III. Marvelous, aren't they?
Huge. They must have taken years to paint, but today we're more interested in Henry VIII. Where can we find out more information about him?
Well, there's so much to tell. It's a piece of luck for you that I'm here doing some sketching. Henry VIII happens to be a favorite subject of mine. I don't think his voice is right. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. He was one of the most interesting of all the English kings. My favorite, really. though I suspect not one of the nicest. It's said that over 80,000 people were executed during his reign, including two of his own wives. He was a ruthless king, but what a fascinating character. Did you know they credit him with inventing the game of terror? Oh boy. I was trying to say tennis and Tetris at the same time. I don't know why. Did you know they credit him with inventing the game of tennis? He was a poet, too, and quite an excellent musician. He played Tetris. But whenever I look at those. What's that word? Holbein?
Holbein.
Holbein. Alright. Whenever I look at the. Okay, let me try that again. But whenever I look at those Holbein portraits of him, I'm always struck by his haughty expression. Oh, what it must have been like to be a king in those days. The power, the wealth, the women.
Holbein. We ran across that name, remember? Who is that, Mr. Friscora?
Oh, Hans Holbein, a genius. He was Henry VIII's court painter. He painted wonderful portraits of the king and his family. He's considered one of the greatest artists of his period.
And from that, we can solve the case.
Okay.
All right.
Once again, I was paying no attention to any clues, just trying to figure out voices. So, yeah, you're on your own for the solving bit.
Okay.
Hi, Salem.
Salem's back.
The word Holbein is etched into the gold and silver engraving in von Coburg's armor.
Oh, no. Salem. Do we want to? I think we said we were going to read through these. Can you go back to the previous page, and I'll just blaze through them real quick. Whoop. Was that the first page?
Yeah, this is the first page.
Okay. Germans were some of the first masters of armory. Kings across much of Europe often had armor made in Germany. That's the first clue. Second clue: the armor that Count von Coburg purchased may have once belonged to a king of England, either Henry V, Henry VI, Henry VII, or Henry VIII. Henry V is referred to as Henry V.
We don't need that clue.
Skip that one, yeah. That's a dumb one. The word Holbein is etched into the gold and silver engraving of a gauntlet of von Coburg's armor. This is clue number 4, 5. This is clue number 5,
These,
right?
these generic clues about armor are basically irrelevant. We don't need to read all of them.
Okay, well, I was going to go through them anyway just to... Well, it's fine.
All right. Read this middle clue. This middle clue.
I won't bother Hey, Evan, I won't bother numbering the clues. I'll just read through them. In the days of Henry V, around the year 1400, knights wore full suits of plate armor that helped protect them from the heavy blows of axes, maces, and swords. Next clue. King Henry VIII owned many wonderful suits of armor. He had them specially designed to fit his bulky frame. Next clue. People who lived hundreds of years ago...
I'm selecting that clue because it's relevant.
Okay. People who lived hundreds of years ago weren't as big or healthy as people who live in modern times. They were not as tall as the typical people of today, and the average lifespan was much shorter. I know, Salem, hang on. Kings of England passed down their crown to their children.
This
Kings
page isn't relevant.
Like
this page isn't relevant at all.
Do we not want to read all the clues though? Because
it's going to take too much time, I think, to read every single clue, especially when we get to the second scrapbook.
I don't know. We're already around to the next whatever. All right, go ahead. Do whatever. It's fine.
All right.
When we come up to the next solves, though, I'll read through them real quick as you go.
Yeah.
Because now we have dead air.
Court painters were often commissioned to do the etching that decorated fine suits of armor. Hans Holbein was Henry VIII's court painter. And that's what we need. All right, he says we need one more clue.
Perhaps
so let's go a little bit. Germans were some of the finest masters of armory, maybe? Yeah, let's do that one.
I don't feel like that was it.
Because Holbein was German.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
So if we go back and select the other clues, Holbein, specially designed to fit his bulky frame. Or actually, I don't think in the case itself they mentioned that Holbein was German. Factually, he was, but I don't think it's mentioned actually in when we were going through.
In the game.
So what we want to do is we want to match up this clue with a clue that suggests that this is a unique piece of armor. He had them specially designed, so we want to find something that says the general armor would be smaller.
Also, we're looking for King Henry VIII clues in general, right?
Yeah, but not general.
Like the second one, the Church of England wouldn't be relevant. Go back to the previous
Hold on.
page. Oh, that one. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so we're not quite there. We know the first four clues that we need. We need the Holbein
Yeah, show me
clue.
the ones you're. Okay, hold on. Before you click, the word Holbein's etched in it. Okay, so that's our biggest clue. Okay, go next. Whatever's next.
Um,
Specially designed to fit his frame.
yeah, that's one of the ones that we need.
Okay.
We don't need anything
don't
about
just
Henry
wait.
V or the Sixth.
Yeah. Don't just blaze through these real quick. Let me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Those are all duds.
Okay.
And those are all Henry VII. So
Henry VIII.
6 times. His wives beheaded does not matter.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
it matters, but it doesn't count to this.
We want court painters.
And Hans
we want
Holbein.
Hans Holbein. So we need to find one more thing that.
All right, go back to the first page. Okay. No.
This is the first page.
Okay, stay there for a second. Would it be that second clue?
No, because that's just saying what this.
We know it's one of the kings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
we
we
can
don't need
try
to
that clue.
establish that.
We can try that clue because that's a clue that says, "Hey, it has to be a Henry."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
There it is.
Good
That
call.
was it. Okay, good.
Are we in agreement that it's Henry
And
VIII?
Henry VIII.
Are we in agreement?
I'm Henry VIII. I am. I'm Henry VIII. I am. I don't know the rest of the words, but yes, it's Henry VIII.
Look at this. These first three kings, they look kind of chill, and then this last king looks really smug and arrogant.
He looks high. Is what he looks. I'm Henry. Don't bogart.
So many Henrys in so little time. We had to work fast to help Count von Coburg find out who owned that suit of armor. Mr. Sneed helped us find out tons of stuff about brave Henry V, sick Henry VI, diplomatic Henry VII, and powerful Henry VIII. But the real
Crazy Henry VIII.
But the real clue was on the armor itself, the word Holbein in the gold etching. We didn't have enough time at Windsor Castle to explore, but luckily we ran into Mrs. Presswick. She told us that court painters sometimes did the fancy engraving on suits of armor for their king. When we stopped off at Hampton Court, Mr. Frescura gave us the last piece of the puzzle. Holbein was the name of Henry VIII's court painter. Henry VIII must have ordered Holbein to do the etching on his armor. When it was finished, Holbein cleverly etched his own name into the gauntlet's engraving. That sent us a message 500 years later to tell us that Count von Coburg's armor was made for King Henry VIII.
Okay, before I read, Salem's a very good boy because when I bent down to give him some treats, I found what I'm going to drink tonight. It's the Kraken. Unleash the Kraken. By the way, if anybody's left in chat, let me know how the audio mix sounds because it keeps sounding off to me for some reason. And here's the clipping. Von Coburg armor was Henry VIII's. Uncle Evie revealed yesterday that millionaire Count von Coburg's latest Snootbees purchase was in fact a long-thought last suit of armor created for Henry VIII. As I promised Uncle and Jake, I will donate the suit to the castle of the king who should have worn it, exclaimed von Coburg. These young Americans really did their homework. Harry Parker of Snootbees, that VGA font's killing me. Harry Parker of Snootbees gushed. They found the one clue that proved which Henry owned the armor. Hampton court officials look forward to displaying the armor within the month.
All right, and from here, we will take a quick
Here,
break.
wait, hold
Um,
on, hold on a second. Hold on a second before you do. Here's the crack of the Kraken. All right, go ahead.
all right, so we're gonna take a quick break. Um, hydrate, bio, whatever you need, stretch. I will use the same shorthand I used last week in that I will put my stream back to the splash screen, and when I come back to the game window, that'll be your cue that I'm ready to continue.
All right, sounds good. Give me 5 minutes because I'm gonna run get a soda and some ice and stuff.
All
And
right. I'm going over to my studio
something else
to
I was
get
gonna say.
everything
Just
switched.
all right, a quick note for the people on my stream. When I go to break, it is probably going to be silent. I think the reason for that is because I'm piping in Uncle Evie's audio through Discord. So I think that's why it's doing that. I can't get appropriate sound coming from OBS for some reason, but that is fine.
And
So that's all I was gonna say.
I will switch my screen back to the splash screen,
Mm.
and when you see me switch back to the game screen, that'll tell you that I'm back at my table. Or in my studio, so to
All right,
speak.
sounds good. All right. Well, we're going to go on a quick break as well, and I will leave the lovely lo-fi music playing just as a cover. So we'll be back in 5 minutes
Ish.
or ish. All right, on break. a very crowded closet. So I don't have room to put booze. So it's like one would think I was a problem alcoholic if they came in and
Audio
saw
test
this room
successful.
because it's
I am coming back on. Just a moment while I get
very
back
good.
into the
Okay.
game.
Yeah, I was just telling my viewers that yeah, I've got bottles of booze stacked all over the place. You move a box, there's bottles behind it. The control panel, my control what is
Okay.
it called? My mixer board. There's like 2 or 3 bottles behind that. I really don't drink that much. Honestly, I don't.
All right, we seem to have a slower pace tonight, so let's do the next two and then assess for time.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. And Luna says, Bret. So I will respond and say, Luna. All right, we're on the case of the chess club caper.
Yeah, the chess
Caper.
club caper. I think this one involves like another one of those teenage extracurriculars that we've been seeing a bunch of, and a cheater basically. I think if I remember correctly, there's a chess tournament and somebody cheats.
Yeah, caper, of course, being someone who wears a cape. That's what that means. Oh, it's Nigel. Blast it all. It's a royal game and cheating's just not done. It's a disgrace.
Called it. Didn't I say this is a case about a cheater at a tournament?
Yep.
What's going on, Nigel? Sounds like somebody's got you all riled up.
Okay, so just a very quick side note, and our viewers can look this up if they choose. There was a cheating scandal in the chess world some time ago where one of the players was accused of receiving radio signals telling him how to move his chess pieces, and those radio signals were given to him by way of a vibration. The vibration was due to a device which was placed, we'll say it was in an inconspicuous location on the player. And yeah, just to look up, yeah, Shinobu got it. Shinobu knows. That is very true. That is a thing that has happened. It was a radio activated or a Bluetooth activated toy, we'll say. Anyway, moving on.
One of the Twitch musicians that I watch, he can play tournament level. He can play a tournament level game of chess with one person, and a tournament level game of Scrabble with another person simultaneously, and
Well,
win
that's
both.
pretty good. Judge Reinhold, the main guy that was on Night Court years ago, had a book where he had done a thing where he wagered that he could beat it was either 6 or 8 chess grandmasters. He could beat at least half of them.
Who was this?
Or come to a draw at the same time. Judge Reinhold. Was it? No, not Judge Reinhold. Who the hell am I thinking? Harry Anderson. Harry Anderson. Judge Reinhold was the other guy. Harry Anderson. He was on Night Court. He was also a known street magician, but I can't even talk. But what he would do, he would sit in the middle of this circle of chessboards. So he was always on one side of the chessboard, and the other chess players were on the outer edge of the chessboard, facing him over the chessboard. Basically, how the trick worked is that he would take the moves of the chessmaster in front of him and transfer those moves to the chessboard across from him against the other. So basically, he was acting as a conduit between the two chess masters on either spoke of the wheel. It was very clever, and he got a bunch of people that way. Anyway, you can read about it in his book. I can't remember what it's called, but Harry Anderson was his name. He's gone now. Rest in peace.
Someone spoiled my school's chess tourney. He or she rearranged the pieces on a chessboard during the lunch break. Say, Jake, maybe you and Uncle can... Say, Jake, maybe you and Uncle can suss out the situation.
Suss out being the more traditional usage of the phrase, which means figure out,
Suss out?
not
What
the
does that mean, Nigel?
yeah.
I know exactly what that means. I was just reading in character.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying for the people that may not know, suss out was an older rendition of sus. Sus now is used as short for suspicious. But hello, first time chatter, slight boiler. I appreciate the offer, but I am going to have to delete the message. Thank you, but I appreciate it.
Look over, figure out. Anyway, the chess tourney's being held at the Phaeton Club. Pop on down and have a look. You can catch up with me later at the London Zoo. Suddenly I'm Ringo Starr.
I think we've been to the Phaeton before. Is that where the Sherlock Holmes contest was?
Maybe yeah. It's like the little bar. It's a handsome cab. It's a handsome cab. It's the handsomest handsome cab. It's
So we
driving
are
down the
now at
streets
the
of London town. Hey,
Phaeton Club. Well, no, this is a different room. I got that No, that was the Sherlock Holmes pub where we did the Sherlock Holmes contest.
oh, it
I
was the Sherlock Holmes pub.
I
That's
don't
right.
think we've been here yet, but I think this is a recurring place.
In other news, Luna is a jelly donut. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Hey, that parrot is squawking at us. And look, it's Mr. Sneed here getting involved.
Yay!
Outside of his
He's having a
library.
pint.
He's outside of his library, but in what is obviously another library.
Yeah, I think maybe this is like a second room at a pub or something. It's interesting. I want to be a Luna. Luna wants to be a jelly donut by choice. And Shinobu says I missed Wednesday. I beat 3 games on stream back to back to back. Wow, nice. What games were they? And also, sorry I haven't caught your stream, but I have been. It's been hell week. I'll let you know privately what's going on, but it's been a really bad 3 weeks. It's been very busy, so I don't really have time to. I think what I should start doing is just popping it on and just leaving it run on my tablet or something. But all right, Mr. Sneed. Sorry, fellow Lockett. I'm afraid Giggles here feels she must greet every stranger she sees. Something of a watchdog, eh? I volunteered to help Miss Cowslip monitor the chess tourney. I quite like chess. All the children are so quiet and orderly while they play, you know. I'm afraid this disgraceful incident is my fault. I was watching the chessboards during lunch, but I fell asleep with Giggles here on my shoulder. While I was napping, someone slipped in and removed the chess piece. I'm actually a very light sleeper, so the rascal must have crept in very quietly.
Mrs. Cowslip is new. I don't think she recurs, but if she does recur, I don't think it's until the second case book. This is like a minor character. I think.
All right, I'm making a note anyway. Cow, what a name, Cowslip.
So it's a school tournament, so I would assume she's one of the teachers.
Is it Cowslip or Cow's Lip? That's funny.
I have no idea.
I don't know what I want to do for her. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do for her. I'll just do something.
Oh, children, my, that's a noisy bird you have, Mr. Sneed. Perhaps you can help us with our problem. We're having the quarterfinals of our school chess tourney. While we were at lunch, someone tried to cheat by removing a chess piece from the board. Fortunately, I noticed the difference, so I've excused the children until we can figure out what to do. What a disgraceful thing to happen.
Do you have any idea who removed the chess piece?
Somebody that sucks. Well, it could have been any one of our acquaintances, Philip Hind, Gemma Kent, Natalie Ott, or James Newman. But of course it would seem to be James. Removing the piece gave him a much better position in his game against Gemma.
Wasn't Gemma one of the tennis players from the Ghost Mystery?
Yeah.
The other characters seem new. I don't recognize those names.
Shinobu says she played Sam and Max Hit the Road, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Wow, nice. Oh, Sam and Max. Love that game.
James isn't normally one of our stronger players, but in this tourney he's been doing very, very well. I hope that doesn't mean that he's been cheating all along.
Oh, it totally means that. Check his butt.
On the sign-out sheet, the chess players have written where they have gone. Philip Mind, at the British Library, do not disturb. Oh, Mr. Sneed would like him. Gemma
Yeah.
Kent and Natalie Ott, Tower Green to see the Ravens. That's Mr. Hargreaves' place again, but I don't think he's in this one. James Newman, off to play chess with the dead.
The Grateful Dead are in town? Wow.
No, not the Grateful Dead, I don't think.
Maybe they can get tickets. That'd be awesome.
The British Library, no sweat, that's over in the British Museum. But what on earth could James mean by play chess with the dead? That's very ominous. I'm feeling more and more sus about James all the time.
He's rented a backhoe and is moving tombstones around.
I called it the Tower Green, where there are ravens. I'm sure, so Tower of London. But how do we get there from here? And we know we have to go... I don't even have to look at the map for this one. We know Tower of London is like at the northeastern edge of the map. And we're like at the southwestern edge of the map. So we go east.
I'm glad you're paying attention. I'm not.
Alright. And let's look at the chessboard itself. This chessboard is the one that was tampered with.
Good.
One of Gemma Kent's pawns has been taken from the board and carefully stacked with the other dead pieces.
And it's been replaced with a sliced salmon.
Not a very clever crime. Not a very clever crime, I'm afraid. It was dead obvious. If someone just moved a piece to a worse position, I might never have noticed. But with the pawn gone, Gemma will lose the game very soon.
Now what will happen?
Well, someone will die, you see. Because it was tampered with, this game will have to be played all over again. If we can prove who did this, then of course he or she will be banned from the tournament. Barred, banned, same thing, really.
Alright. I'd say let's go to the library first. Because that guy's not a suspect right now. Let's get him out of the way.
I'm on a bus. I'm on a bus. I'm on a bus. Look at me. I'm on a bus. Uh-huh.
See that kid over there with the chessboard? That must be Philip Mind.
Oh, his name is Mind? Okay.
Or Mind.
That's
M-Y-N-D. I've never seen that name before. I'm assuming it's Mind. But that's
it's
the
probably
American
Mind,
pronunciation.
usually. Yeah, well, with the Y, with no other vowels, it's probably that. But let's see.
Do you mind? I'm studying this classic old game between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky. Leave me be.
Sorry to bother you, but we're investigating cheating at the chess tourney. Where were you during the lunch break?
Oh, this is where he gets playing chess with the dead. I get it.
Eating. I forget where Dorothea Tari and I had lunch. Wherever it was gruesome. Now buzz off!
Well, he's not very
Wanker.
friendly, is he? I guess he takes his chess very seriously. And given how seriously he takes his chess, you know, he wouldn't be the cheater. But he's not very nice, so he
Go
could
bug
be
him
the
again.
cheater. Let's go to the Tower of London next.
Go bug him again. Just keep bugging him till he throws something.
Because it's just going to
That'd be
repeat the
funny.
same dialogue over and over. This is an old DOS game. Nothing's random in this
Yeah, I
game.
know. That'd be funny though.
All right, I don't think
Flip over the board.
you already read this blurb tonight, so we'll skip it.
Did I? Okay. All right, that's fine.
This seems like kind of a cool place to play a game of chess.
Bangkok, Oriental City. The city don't know what the city is kept.
So
the creme de la creme of the chess world.
Natalie
Show
is-
with everything but Yul Brynner.
Natalie is new. There's a chance that Gemma we may have seen before, but she might be new also. We'll find out when I see her portrait. But Natalie is definitely
Oh
new.
man, all these people. All these characters. Okay.
Poor Gemma. Normally she beats me quite easily. She's the second best player on the team. Only Phil Mind can beat her usually, but today James was winning. I could see she was in trouble with just a glance at the board. Kind of embarrassing, really. The second best player at school trounced by a nobody.
One night in Bangkok and the hard guys tumble.
I'm not 100% sure, but she may or may not have been one of the tennis players from last week.
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but maybe.
The
I don't
face
know.
looks
Whoever.
similar,
Anyway.
but the hair looks different.
Mhm.
So I could be getting her confused with another character named Gemma, but I don't know why they would do that to us.
Yeah. Let's see what I can do for her. Let's try.
One town's very like another when your head's down over your pieces, brother.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be silly, Natalie. I would have beaten James in the end if this unpleasantness hadn't come along. I just got off to a bad start, that's all. Well, Jim and I are good friends, but I must say I was happy to see James doing so well. He's been trying so hard. I'd give anything to see him win.
We have motive.
Oh, really, Natalie? Sometimes I think it was you who removed the chess piece so that James would have a better chance of winning. Yes.
The chess world version of pettiness.
We're investigating cheating at the chess tournament, Gemma. Where were you during the lunch break?
Excuse me.
I took a long walk. I get uncomfortable sitting for so long in one place. I took a long walk too, out round the square. That's funny, I didn't see you there. Well, just a few more moves, Natty dear, and then I'm going back to the club. Your move.
The Tower Ravens seem to have taken a liking to you, Gemma.
Yes, I have a way with birds. That's putting it mildly, Jem. You even had that grumbly old parrot of Sneed's eating out of your hand. I'm just waiting for you to weaponize all these birds and have them attack people in the streets. Oh, what a day that shall be. Mr. Sneed said Gemma looks so much like his niece that Giggles took an instant liking to her. He doesn't even squawk when she comes near, as if she were family.
Oh, the
We
parrot
know
doesn't
who
squawk.
did it. We know who did it.
Yeah. There it is.
Well, I can't think of who I remind the Ravens of, Natalie. They seem to take a fancy to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we still have to interview one suspect. The one who everyone
Yep.
else thinks is sus, but we know who did it already.
Yep.
We're going to
Yep.
the zoo.
That one clue did it.
But what does
Oh, we're going to the zoo. Oh,
but what does the zoo have to do with playing chess? Oh, we don't meet him just yet. We have to find out what playing chess with the dead means. That's why we meet up with Nigel and friends here. Here's Nigel and his friends. I hope they can help us figure out where James Newman has gone. We really need to ask him some questions.
It's Nigel and his friends. It's Nigel. The fun never ends. It's Nigel and his friends. Yeah, Nigel and his friends.
That's the theme song for those guys.
Dorothy and Guy were watching the quarterfinals. Maybe they can give you some good clues. The top player, Philip, was playing Natalie, who's ranked about 5th in the school. Their game was too close to call when they stopped for lunch.
What do I do with this one? They're not in jail. They stole a cell phone. That's theft. Anyway, maybe they're out in juvie or something.
Gemma, who's the school's second best player, was playing James, who's never been in a tournament before. And I think James was winning. The winners of each of these quarterfinal games would play each other in the final. The winner of that game gets a really big thrill, a chance to play chess with Judith Polgar.
Wow, what a name.
She's playing some exhibition games in London next week. Judith Polgar is an Hungarian chess grandmaster, Uncle, and she's only in her teens. Dad, cool.
So, who do you think removed that chess piece and why? And where is James Newman hiding?
Oh, James Newman works for Disney now. He writes those songs. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
We figure maybe Phil or Natalie removed that chess piece. They would want James to win so they wouldn't have to play Gemma in the final. She can be really tough. I don't think Phil did it. I was with him all of lunchtime. He just sat and stared at his food.
Well, I don't think Natalie did it. I saw her out walking the square at lunchtime. Yes.
Maybe you better go talk to James Newman. He likes to play chess in the Highgate Cemetery. He says nobody ever disturbs him there.
Play chess with the dead
see?
at a cemetery.
Yeah.
He is
At a
kind of a
cemetery.
sus
Yeah,
character, just not in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, I said he was renting a backhoe and moving the tombstones around.
The sign says parrots are social animals, which means they like to stay together in groups. By working together, they all have a better chance to find food and to escape predators. Many
I
social
thought being a so- I thought being a social bird meant you were on Facebeak.
Many social
Anyway,
animals make a loud noise or other signal when they see a stranger or something suspicious. This is why dogs bark to warn us that someone is coming. The loud noise alerts all the animals in the group to the presence of danger.
Facebeak. Get it? Get it? Facebeak.
All right, let's go to the cemetery. Even though we
This is
know
comedy.
Even though we know it's the girl at the Tower of London, we're still gonna do the solver machine in the cemetery because that's a cool place to do the solve. Or should we go back to the scene of the crime to solve it?
Uh, I think we should go to the cemetery at least once. When
Well,
go
we
see
have
this
to go to
thing.
the cemetery to interview the guy. But should we solve?
Yeah.
We should solve the crime at the scene of the crime. I mean, that's well, we could solve it anywhere
Yeah, that's
really.
fine. That's fine.
It's
Yeah, either
extra
way's
clicks
fine.
to go back, I think.
Want a bus to go see dead people?
Oh, I get it. James Newman said he was going to play chess with the dead. He meant that he was going to go play chess at Highgate Cemetery.
I'm
Looks
totally
like
gonna play him like Randy Newman.
looks like Aaron and Felix were spectators at the chess thing. Because here's Aaron.
Somebody fiddle.
We have Aaron and Felix. That's who I clicked on. And James must be this other kid over here that I
Yep.
haven't clicked on yet.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go through Aaron and Felix first. Somebody fiddled the tourney, eh? Shocking. Beastly. Don't suppose it was Natalie. She quite fancies our lad James there. Tried to give him a push, what? Or maybe that Philip Mind. A mental piranha, that one. Or Gemma. Great kid, but man, does she hate to lose. But it wasn't our lad James. He always plays it on the level. Besides, during lunchtime, he was here in the boneyard. With us. Honest. Which I'm sure he was. Okay, bear with me here. I'm going to do Randy Newman for James Newman. Don't tell me Miss Cowslip decided that I must have removed that chess piece and has banned me from tourney, right?
Actually, we're helping her investigate things, James. Can you give us any information?
I simply must win this tourney, Jake. I want to meet Judith Polgar to play chess with her. Now that would be heaven on earth. Yep. I've read a zillion articles about her, and one day I just made up my mind to win this tournament. I was doing it too, and now this happens. Now I'm all thrown off. If I have to play Gemma again, I'll probably lose.
So he has a motive, but Gemma's the one who can get past the parrot. Let's solve this thing.
Let's do it. Yeah, I do this thing now. Checkmate the culprit, yeah. All right. let me read through these. I can do this very quickly. In the quarterfinals of the school chess tourney, someone tried to cheat by removing a chess piece from the board. Only one of the four quarterfinalists, Philip Mind, Gemma Kent, Natalie Ott, or James Newman, could have cheated by removing the chess piece. While watching the chessboards, Mr. Sneed fell asleep with Giggles on his shoulder. While he napped, someone snuck in and removed a chess piece.
I think that's one of our clues.
I think so, yeah, because it has the bird. Giggles the parrot greets every stranger she sees with a very loud squawk. Mr. Sneed is a light sleeper and would have woken up from his nap if Giggles the parrot had squawked. Ms. Cowslip says the crime was very obvious because the cheater removed a piece that was an important piece on the board. Whoever removed the chess piece gave James Newman a much better chance of winning against Gemma Kent. Philip Mind says he was eating lunch with Dorothea Torrey when the chess piece was removed. Philip Mind was very unfriendly and seemed to be very wrapped up in his chess studies. Mr. Sneed's parrot Giggles doesn't squawk when Gemma comes in a room. Ding, ding, ding. Jenna looks so much like Mr. Sneed's niece that Giggles thinks of her as family.
Now, why would she want to lose, though, is the question.
Why would what?
We
Why would
still
she
gotta
want him to
figure
lose?
out why we gotta figure out why Gemma wants to lose herself. Because if she
Oh.
removed the piece, that puts her in a worse position.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Oh, here's the clue right here. She was losing her game to James. It was because she got off to a bad start.
Okay, hang on.
So that
Let
would
me
have
blaze through
reset
these.
the game if there was a
Hold on a sec.
tampering
Hold
with
on.
it.
Don't click anything. Let me blaze through these real quick. Gemma Kent says she took a long walk all alone during the lunch break of the chess tournament. Natalie Ott says she took a long walk all alone during the lunch break of the chess tournament. Although Gemma Kent is the second best player at school, she was losing her game to James Newman. Ha, new man, get it? Gemma said it was because she got off to a bad start.
Now, before I click that, let's make sure that there's no more clues.
Yeah. All right. Natalie likes James and says she'd give anything to see him do well in the tournament. Dorothea says she was at lunch with Phil Mine and he had no chance to sneak in and move the chess piece. Nigel says he saw Natalie walking about the square at lunchtime. James Newman really wants to meet Judith Polgar, the chess grandmaster. Aaron and Felix say that James Newman spent his lunchtime with them in the
So
cemetery.
it can't be James anyway, because he would have woken the parrot, but he was in the cemetery.
Right.
So we're going
Yeah,
with
Gemma
this
was the
one.
only one that could...
We're going with she got off to a bad
that's...
start. We want to reset. She
Yeah.
wants to reset the game.
She wants to reset the game. Yep. That's it. And it was Gemmer. Gemmer.
You got
Not
it.
quite a gem now, is she?
We got it. Gemma Kent removed the chess piece while Mr. Sneed was sleeping. To solve this mystery, we had to picture in our minds how the crime was committed. To move the chess piece, someone had to creep into the room where Mr. Sneed was sleeping, but he was not alone in the room. Giggles the
I had a
parrot
pallet on me.
Giggles the parrot was not sleeping, and we saw that Giggles gave off a loud squawk every time a stranger entered the room. That squawk would have alerted Mr. Sneed. But Gemma Kent has a way with birds, and she resembles Mr. Sneed's niece. Giggles never squawks at her. She was the only one who could have tampered with the chess game. Gemma was upset because she got off to a bad start in her game against James Newman. She thought if she could start over, she would win. So she removed a piece to mess up the game, making sure the change was so obvious it would be noticed.
And another one down for the Eagle Eye Mystery Team.
All right, there we go. I lagged up for a moment there. That's what that was.
All right. Local boy plays chess genius. James Newman was one of 30 Britons chosen to play in... Shouldn't that be Bretons? Because that's what Breton is. See what I did there? It's a little self-promotion. One of 30, I'm going to say Bretons, chosen to play in a simultaneous chess exhibition against Judith Polgar, the teenage chess phenomenon from Hungary. Polgar, who was at one time both the youngest chess grandmaster and the highest-ranked woman player, played all 30 opponents at the same time, winning 21 games, drawing 7 and losing 2. James played a valiant game, but lost. James would not be in the game at all, however, if it weren't for the cleverness of two detective friends from America. Uncle and Jake solved a mystery during my quarterfinal match, James said, and that encouraged me to play really well in the finals. James defeated Natalie Ott for the honor of representing our school in the exhibition match against Judith Polgar. In gratitude to the detectives, James... I swear that looks like murdered. James awarded them with the signed chess set given to him by Judith. She complimented me on my playing, James explained. That's all the award I need. The award was the friends we made along the way.
All right, so now we're going to go into...
Gotta go right on. Gotta go right on through.
The
Break on
case,
through to the other side.
the case of the perilous pixies.
Oh, I love the Pixies. They had that one song. Don't load it yet. How many do we have? How many more cases do we have in book 1? Out of curiosity.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm just curious
11,
how many
12,
there
6,
are.
16.
16? All right, that's cool. All right, I was just curious. That has nothing to do with anything. I was just wondering
All right,
about.
but for
All right,
right
let's
now,
go
we're
on
doing
to-
the perilous pixies.
Yeah, Case of the Perilous Pixies. What did the Pixies sing? They had a song.
I think this is more about, fairy tale pixies.
No, I know that. I'm just the Pixies were a band that was good back in the day.
All right, why aren't we starting up here? What's going on here?
Pixies songs. Here we go.
Okay, my browser emulator seems to be crashing. I'm refreshing the page. That's okay. Everything we've done so far today
All right, that's
is
fine.
locked in. So,
Okay, so the Pixies' biggest hit
Don't worry, it's loading.
It's where number 8, Greens and Blues. Number 7, Here Comes Your Man. Number 6, Monkey Gone to Heaven. Number 5, Hey. Number 4, Caribou. Number 3, Cactus. Number 2, Gigantic. And their number 1 biggest hit was Debaser. I don't recognize any of these. I thought I knew the Pixies. I know I've heard something of theirs. I know for sure that I have. They were huge back when I was in college.
See, as you can see,
Shinobu
everything we've done
it's
so far, everything we've done so far is already locked in. Because we finished the case before we crashed out, we don't have to replay and click through. And even if we did have to replay and click through, I would do that after stream.
Shinobu is saying at some point you should check her YouTube. I got a series that I would. Or she's saying she has a series that I would like. What is your YouTube?
Okay.
Is it just Shinobu Fujiko again?
Phone call from a new character. This Ray Maringe, she shows up again a couple of times, but she's kind of a minor rare character.
Oh boy. Okay.
Hello, is this Jake Eagle?
Yes. Hi. Who's this?
Her voice should be Downtown Julie Brown, but I can't do Downtown Julie Brown, so I'll mess this up horribly.
I'm Roma Rank. We don't know each other, but I'm a chum of Nigel's from Devon. Last time I spoke to him, he was full of stories of your detective work. Is it true? Are you a detective?
Sure thing. We are members of the Eagle Eye Detective Agency back in America. Do you have something that needs investigating?
Yes, I'm afraid one of my neighbors does. Are you and Uncle free to come down to my Dartmoor and catch the day? One of my neighbors appears to be under attack by the Pixies.
Pixies.
They were supposed to be on tour.
Pixies? You mean like fairies? The little people? The Oompa Loompas?
No, the band, silly. That's exactly what I mean. If you're as good as Nigel says, you and Uncle have just got to come down and help us figure out how to fight back.
Fight the
That's
Pixies?
a terrible Julie Brown.
Fight the Pixies? I don't know, Ray, but we might be able to help out. We'll head down to Victoria Station and catch the next train.
Okay, Shinobu says she's playing every U.S. released SNES game in order. Oh my god. Wow. That's, how many is that? 600 and something? Was it 600? I don't remember the numbers. I've got that spreadsheet somewhere, but I don't have it right in front of me.
We gotta go to Dartmoor. What a weird call, but any friend of Nigel's is a friend of ours. Let's see if we can help. Dartmoor isn't a city at all. It's a national park. They call the area Dartmoor because it is a moor, a damp, peat-covered area near the River Dart. Looks like the train to Dartmoor is in, but do we want westbound or eastbound? Okay, map time again. I've had to check my map 3 times so far. You haven't had to check the rulebook once. So Dartmoor. Let me see.
Not yet. Probably the next one. I would bet.
We want to go west.
712 games, she says.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Dartmoor is the next landmark over from Tintagel, which is the westernmost landmark on the southern stretch we got here. So we're going west from London to Dartmoor.
Okie dokie.
Hold on, let me check my audio first real quick.
Okie
Am I actually broadcasting? Let me check my audio first real quick. Yeah, the loop back was starting, so yeah, we're good. Everything's green here. Let's go west. All right, so we're headed out to the west. We're headed out west.
Riding train. Everywhere I'm going, I ride trains. Sleeping in a
There's Ray.
boxcar when it rains. Ride a train. Okay.
There's Ray, but who are all those other people? And what on earth are they up to?
The devil worshippers, you see. Thanks so much for coming, you two. Poor Mr. Bristol's really in a tiz. He thinks that the Dartmoor Pixies are after him. The legends about the Pixies say they can be very helpful, but also very mischievous. Some of the farmers around here still leave a bowl of milk and grain out for them every once in a while, to be sure they keep in the Pixies' favour.
They should just leave a guitar.
A token A token from the pixies is supposed to bring good luck. So when Bob found a strange little coin here at the fairy ring when he was digging, he thought it might be a pixie coin and kept it for good luck. From what he has to say, it sounds like the pixies thought he stole it and they took their revenge.
So this is
Before I read the next
Mrs.
line, I'm going to
Bernie.
make a little note here.
I am not sure if Bernie recurs or not, but remember, we're out in the country right now, so these guys aren't city folk. Do with that information what you will. I think these are one-offs out here, but I'm not 100% sure.
This is Ms. Bernie?
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. Hang on 1 second. There's just a whole list of characters already on my notepad here. Ms.
It's gonna grow with a ton of one-offs as we continue.
Yeah, lovely.
We've got most of the main recurring players so far, I do believe. There might be a few we haven't met yet.
All right.
Of course, I've heard the legend of the pixies, or the piskies. Piskies? Piskies. Piskies, as some call them, but that's all they are. Legends. There's no such thing.
Oh, Shinobu with the convenient link. Thank you. I'll check it out after we're done with the stream tonight.
There must be a logical explanation for what's been happening on Bob's ranch. I've a hard time believing the fair folk are rising up against him.
For her, I'm just going to write Cockney Lady. Okay.
I've tried to convince Bob that he should look for a rational explanation, but he's convinced the pixies are after him. He told me this whole thing's upset him so much he's thinking of packing up and moving out Dartmoor altogether.
It's either I've offended them in this ring of stones. I thought I'd dig a well here for my ponies, but I should have known better than digging a fairy ring. Ever since I started, I've had nothing but bad luck. First 2 weeks ago, I found the milk in me icebox going sour.
That doesn't seem very supernatural, just stinky.
That's Bob Bristol. Okay, again making notes. He's gonna be Cockney guy. No, not cucumber. There we go. Hear me out, that's not all. One night last week I came home and found my salt shaker on the floor. First I blamed me old tomcat Mr. Tibbs, but now I see it was the pixies. They're tormenting me. Rotten pixies. 2 days ago, my lucky horseshoe fell from the doorway just as I walked under it. It nearly brained me.
That was pretty bad luck.
That's what I thought as well. Bad luck, I said. I said bad luck, I said. That's what I said. So I found my lucky charm here. I thought it meant the pixies had forgiven me and left me a token of their goodwill. But I was wrong. So very wrong. I should never have taken it from the fairy ring. They're furious with me now. When I come home after a long day at Torbay Market with the ponies, I found they raided me house and taken back the charm I found here. They tore down me curtains and dashed me photos to the floor. They pulled open all the drawers and cupboards and smashed the eggs from out me icebox. But hark all this, all the doors and windows are still locked, and the only thing missing was me lucky charm. It's a pixie warning, I say. They're after me lucky charms.
Bob Bristol is standing near a circle of small stones. The ring of stones is approximately 10 feet across. Grass has grown up around it, and the stones themselves are covered with lichen and moss. A small hole has been dug on one side of the circle.
Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious.
Let's go further into Dartmoor. This path leads to Hound Tor. It's kind of a hike, but it'll be a pretty walk, and we can take the bus to Torbay from there.
In my chat is the words, me lucky charms. They're always after me lucky charms.
See those huge rock formations over there? That's Hound Tor. According to the map, if we keep heading down this path, we'll reach the bus stop we need to get... Excuse me. We'll reach the bus stop we need to get to Torbay.
I thought you just found my ice sloshing very amusing.
I think she recurs in the second scrapbook, but she's like a very minor bit part. Still one of these country
All
folk.
right. Okay, yeah, very Cockney then, I suppose.
Hello there. Out for a ramble, are you? Mind the bogs now. Don't go stepping into any fairy rings.
Fairy rings? Do you know anything about Dartmoor fairies?
The pixies, you mean? Oh, aye. I'm just out now gathering rowan twigs and St. John's wort to hang on me doorway. Keeps the wee folk away, it does. I've heard they've been up their old tricks again. Like I told Bob Bristol, I'm not one to take chances.
Rowan sticks and St. John's wort will keep pixies away?
Of course, rowan's a tree famous for protecting people from supernatural, and St. John's wort is a herb that grows hereabouts, whatever. There's other things too: bells, daisy chains, mud from a churchyard, horseshoes, red ribbons, a sock under your bed.
A sock under your bed? Well, at least we know our house is safe, right? I've always got socks under my bed. And in real life, I too always have socks under my bed, and behind it, and next to it. Are we?
Well, then I'm glad I didn't make the joke I was about to make.
Why? What were you gonna say?
I don't know. That just sounds like something that would be rude.
The guidebook I picked up at the train station says that the tours aren't really buildings or ruins. They're just the granite peaks of hills that have been exposed by weather through the ages. People on the moors use them as landmarks because they're easily recognizable from a distance. A lot of the tours are named for their shapes or some legend or place or piece of history connected with their area. We're gonna go. We can take the bus to Torbay.
On a bus, on a bus, on a bus, busing on a bus, on a bus.
So this is an old seaside country
On a bus.
town, is what Torbay I think is in this game. A seaside harbor country town. Torbay is a seaside town. There are docks at the end of the street, and these are, I think, a bunch of
Torbay,
like.
right down the river from
Yeah.
Old Bay.
I think these three guys are one-offs.
Okay.
This is Ray's dad, by the way.
Maring. Okay. Now don't pay any mind to anything Jim Mutter tells you. He loves to tell stories about the local legends, but I don't think even he really believes them. Sometimes people enjoy the stories of where they live so much that they tell them as if they were true. You can easily see why people who live on Dartmoor get superstitious, though. The deserted moors get rather eerie at times, and it would be easy to imagine all kinds of ghosts, beasties, or little people in the rolling fog. The moors are quite mysterious themselves. The stone circles found there date back to prehistoric days, and even these days people occasionally come across ruins that no one knew existed. I can see how the more imaginative residents of the moors might think these old stone structures were constructed by sprites or fairies, but they're actually keys to the past. Some of them are burial mounds, some are old dwellings, some no one's sure quite what they were. When these structures are excavated or dug up carefully by archaeologists, they often tell us about the ancient peoples who once lived in England.
How can a bunch of old rocks...
Shinobu is saying people seem to be enjoying her videos. That's very nice.
How can a bunch of old rocks tell us anything?
Well, the artifacts that are often found in old ruins and burial sites can be clues to how ancient peoples lived. For example, a broken pot would tell an archaeologist that the people who owned that home knew how to fire clay. An old coin might be a clue to how they were governed or who they traded with. A statue or idol might help tell us about their religious beliefs. Some of these finds are terribly valuable. Museums and collectors will pay a fortune for old artifacts. I don't know why I'm making him Irish, but it's fine. Jim Mutter. Okay, I'm seeing Pixies, Dartmoor's famous for 'em. They're not wicked really, but they do love a prank. Why, me old dad once had a run-in with 'em out on the moors one night. Or the Moops, if you're a Seinfeld fan. Lost himself, he did, following their pixie lights in the night, and might have been lost for sure if he hadn't had the sense to pull his coat off and turn it inside out. That's a sure cure for being pixie-led, that. Seems a simple fix. Full of mischief, the fair folk are. That's why you must always speak well of 'em. Never call 'em nasty names or speak harshly about 'em. Or go on tour under the name the Pixies. They'll be right after you then. They like to be called fair folk, wee ones, or good people. You must always be careful never to offend the wee ones. They're quick to take offense. I was surprised to hear that old Bob Bristol's run afoul of him. He always had such marvelous luck, but I suppose he asked for it. Just yesterday at market, he was telling Kate Fane and me about the good luck charm he found in his field while digging for a well. Took it from a fairy ring, he did. Kate seemed a bit worked up about it. Left for home straight after.
Oh man, another voice. All right.
This guy
seems
looks
like
Australian.
He looks like a country cop.
He looks like Crocodile Dundee with the hat. It's how he looks.
Well, he's also
Pixies.
called Colonel, so he's a military guy too.
Yeah. Pixies. What a load of old rubbish. Next thing he'll be on about aliens carving symbols into his fields. Nonsense, I say. Bob Bristol's as superstitious as they come. He was a seaman. You know, before he bought that ranch from Kate Fane. And sailors are often pretty superstitious fellows. Bob sometimes calls on Kate to house sit for him while he's off buying ponies. She uses her old key to get inside. She says his house is filled with good luck charms like horseshoes, rabbit's foots, and the like. If you ask me, someone's trying to scare him off his land. That Marissa Burney, perhaps. She's got a pony ranch as well. Perhaps she thinks that if she scares Bob out of business, her ranch will get more customers.
We know it's Kate. If Kate has a key to the ranch, she could get in, get out, and lock all the doors to make it look like no human was there.
Plus, she knows the fairies.
Yes. We have our case here.
Well, that was quick. We're so good at this. Bob Bristol found a strange little coin while he was digging in a fairy ring and kept it as a good luck charm. Bob Bristol says yesterday someone raided his house. All the doors and windows were still locked, and the only thing missing was the good luck charm he dug up in the fairy ring. The circle of stones that...
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. The circle of stones that Bob Bristol calls a fairy ring is about 10 feet across and appears to be very ancient. There's a lot of those in England. Kate Fane says she's out in the moors collecting rowan twigs and St. John's wort to keep the pixies away. Kate Fane says that bells, daisy chains, mold from a churchyard, horseshoes, red ribbons, or a sock under your bed will also keep the pixies away. Jim Mutter says that his father got lost once on the moors following the lights of the pixies. He calls this being pixie-led. Jim Mutter says that a sure cure for being pixie-led is to turn your coat inside out. Jim Mutter also says that pixies like to be called the fair folk, wee ones, or good people. He says they're full of mischief and quick to take offense. Bob Bristol told Kate Fane and Jim Mutter about his good luck charm at the Torbay market yesterday. Kate Fane left the market immediately after.
That's one of the clues, for sure.
Okay. Yep. Ved Mooring says the stone circles and ruins on the moors weren't really built by pixies, but are actually the remains of ancient buildings and grave sites. Ved Mooring said that artifacts found in old stone circles and ruins can often be very valuable. Bob Bristol bought his house and ranch from Kate Fane. Kate Fane sometimes house sits for Bob Bristol using her old key to get into his house.
Let's make sure that's everything.
Now, is that a thing?
This is a clue. This
Key?
clue is referring to Marissa Burney, so we're not going to worry about that one. We're on Kate Fane.
Yeah.
She house sits for Bob using her old key. She can lock up the house after raiding it. It has to be her.
Yeah, that's what in the industry that's what we would call security breach.
Plus,
Kate Fane.
Plus, of the three, she just looks the most suspicious. She looks like a Karen.
Oh, you say I'm looking sus? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand your English, your American, whatever you're talking in.
You got it. The Pixies didn't break into Bob's house yesterday. Kate Fane did. Bob said that when he came back
It wasn't the Pixies, it was Daft Punk.
Bob said that when he came back from the market in Torbay, his house had been ransacked, but the doors and windows were all still locked. Colonel Sweeney told us that Bob Bristol bought his house and ranch from Kate Fane a few years ago. He said that Kate sometimes house sits for him, using her old key to get into the house. Jim Mutter said that Bob told him and Kate Fane about the lucky charm he found at the fairy ring yesterday at market, but when she heard about it, Kate took off right away. Ray's dad, Ved Maringe, told us that the stone circles found on Dartmoor are actually the remains of ancient civilizations. He said that artifacts from those ancient people can be very valuable. When Kate Fane heard Bob talking about the good luck charm he dug up from one of the stone circles, she realized that the land she sold him might be the site of an ancient treasure. But to be sure, she had to see the coin Bob found. Since Bob would be all day at the market, she ran up to his house and used her old key to get in and search for the coin. Knowing how superstitious Bob is, she set up the house to look as if the legendary pixies had visited, then locked the door behind her to cover her tracks. She may have fooled Bob Bristol, but not the Eagle Eyes.
They didn't even leave a signed poster. American detectives expose pixie hoax. God. Uncle Evie and Jake Eagle came to the aid of Dartmoor resident Bob Bristol, proving that it was his neighbor, Kate Fane, and not the Dartmoor pixies who broke into his home yesterday to steal what turned out to be a rare coin from early Britain. I found the coin in a ring of stones and took it as a fairy good luck charm. I thought my taking it offended the little people until Uncle showed me that my bad luck was merely coincidence. Explained Bristol. Ms. Fane played on Bristol's superstitious nature by leaving behind her just the kind of mess Bristol would expect pixies to leave. Excavations will reveal if any other valuable artifacts were buried in the fairy ring on Bristol's property.
Okay, I think given
That
given that we do kind of have a hard stop here tonight, I think we should do one more case. Let's not take a full break, but give me like 1 minute to go get a sip of water, and we should do one more case when we'll round it out probably just under the 3 hour mark and call it a night. How's that sound for you?
That sounds all right.
All right, give me 1 minute.
Excuse me.
I'm not even unmuting the microphone. I'm just popping over, getting a sip of water, and coming right back. And we'll do our last mystery, and then we'll call it. And we can we can probably go longer. We can probably go longer any other Friday, but we got a thing tomorrow.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to blather for a couple of minutes. Let's look at the Kraken label, shall we? The Kraken, Latin, Architeuthis dux. And oh boy, I can't read that. It's written in very fancy cursive. I'll skip it. So never mind. Not a lot to read on the Kraken bottle. Bizarre and fierce sea creatures, it says on the label. It always the Kraken. It's not related at all, except for the fact that it's rum. But the Kraken always makes me think of what was it? Lost Spirits Distillery in Las Vegas, Nevada. Rest in peace, Lost Spirits Distillery. I drink to your memory. I was there for their last performance. I flew in just for that because I loved the place so much. I thought it was fantastic. It was a rum distillery over at Area 15. And what they would do, they had like this darkened sort of warehouse area. And they had walls built through it to sort of make like little streets in sort of a little village kind of a situation. And it had different things, like there were stages. There was one part that had a big stage where acrobats would perform, and there were 2 or 3 different music stages, and there was a magic stage where people could sit around, and basically you were drinking because it was a rum distillery, and they had tasting stations set up, and you had a card that you could punch at each station to show that you had that particular type of rum. For their last performance, they were not particularly checking the cards. They were just sort of giving out rum, which was fantastic. I went and shot a whole bunch of video. It's okay. I'm telling a story. I'm almost done though. I shot most of the last night's performances with my camera setup, but it was so dark in that place that most of my footage, unfortunately, was unusable. I didn't count on that happening, and didn't want to walk through with a light, even if I had. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that footage. I got to pour through it at some point and see if anything's salvageable out of it. But yeah, they are now gone. I don't know. There was some talk about them opening up somewhere else, but I don't think they did. Or at least I haven't seen anything about it. They also did a thing called the Seance, which was one of the and Luna and Shinobu. We were all together for that, and that was an experience I will never forget. And I really wanted to do the Seance that last night, but something I wasn't able to do it for some reason. I can't remember why, but anyway, I very much miss Lost Spirits Distillery. It sucks when things like that go away. And if anybody by any chance out there happens to be from Lost Spirits and watching, man, please, I don't know what kind of, I know COVID kicked you in the face, but man, please consider coming back somewhere else because that was one of the best times I've had. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Don't worry, I won't make you retell the whole story. I can go back and watch the VOD later to get the whole story. So there's that. And let's go.
I was just waxing. I was waxing poetic about Lost Spirits Distillery in
I'm
Las
I'm
Vegas. It was a
tech,
rum distillery.
I'm
At the
technically
show.
late because it's after midnight, but it was pie day today, and I actually do have a nice big piece of banana cream pie waiting for me when we finish.
Nice. Something related to that was funny. While I was out, I grabbed some Taco Bell to go because I figured it would be quicker to eat that than come back home and try to nuke stuff. Yeah, Shinobu, I'm right there with you. I missed that place. That was so freaking awesome. But yeah, at Taco Bell in their app, I don't know if they did this in store, but in their app, which I ordered from tonight, the Mexican pizza was $3.14. Just thought I would share that.
All right, I'm
Because
gonna
it's a
check.
pizza pie, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna check real
I
quick.
just thought that was pretty funny.
I'm gonna check
Anyway,
real quick my audio real quick, so you might hear an echo
happy
for a
Pie
moment.
Day to you.
You might hear an echo for a moment. Real quick, so you might hear an echo
Happy
for a
Pie
moment.
Day to you.
You might hear
Sure,
an echo.
sure.
All right, we're good. My audio is definitely still running.
Should I be talking or no? Because I would like to
No,
respond.
I've
to Shinobu's
already
next
done.
comment.
I've already done the audio test, and we started to go into the infinite hall
You
of
already did it.
screens, but I bounced back to the correct
Gotcha,
screen.
gotcha.
So we're already done with all the testing. So let's go
Okay.
into the mystery.
All right. So just a, all right. Go ahead and load it, and I will comment and say. Shinobu says she just watched their wedding video again, and I was part of that wedding. I believe I was the best man, and I say I believe I was the best man. I don't know why I said I believe I was the best
Now,
man, but
with that,
it was a very nice wedding. It was like one of the nicer ones that I'd seen as far as a video goes. But
with
anyway,
with that last case with the Pixies, we had a pace much closer to the pace we were hitting last week, which is our normal pace. So that's a good pace to have, I think. We're going into the 11th of 50.
thank you, Shinobu. I appreciate that.
We're going into the we're going to the 11th mystery out of 50 total. So right now I'm going to estimate that this was
Cool.
part 2 of 10ish. Obviously we won't know for sure cuz
Okay,
some
that
days
sounds about right.
some weeks we'll do more mysteries, some weeks we'll do less depending on the pacing. But
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
we're going to finish tonight with case number 11 out of 50. The case of the Robin Hood hacker, which means we'll be hitting the halfway
Ooh.
point. We'll be hitting the halfway point of the first case book in the middle of our next session.
Robin Hood hacker, love it. Just a quick reply to Shinobu. Shinobu says, I said I was the best man in the wedding. Shinobu says, the bestest man, and then says, next to my actual husband. I will gladly take backseat in that equation. I appreciate that very much.
All right, Robin
Anyway.
Hood hacker. Let's return to London for a few more minutes tonight, and then we will. And then yeah, let's do this. Aunt Miranda's up.
Jake, are you and Uncle up for some investigating today? I've got a hot new story that I must get to press tonight, and I'll need some help.
Sure thing, Aunt Em. What's the scoop?
Auntie M.
Meet me down at Scotland Yard, and I'll fill you in on all the details. It looks like we've got a modern-day Robin Hood on our hands.
Let's go.
You were so focused on your game that you missed it. Missed what? Oh, missed the wedding video? I'm on a bus. I'm on a bus, y'all. I'm on a bus, on a mother father bus.
Inspector Gage and Aunt Miranda have been pals for years. He always calls her in to help him figure out tough crimes like this. That way, she gets her scoop and he gets his crook.
And everybody gets beer.
Excuse me. I'm gonna reiterate that this is definitely gonna be the last one for tonight. But I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good for it. I'm good. I'm good for this
All right.
one though.
All right, cool.
Aunt Miranda, I've tried to wade through the records that the bank sent over, but I'm afraid it'll take someone a bit more computer keen than myself to suss it out. All these crisscrossing file names have me baffled. Inspector Gage said he sent copies over the computer whizzes at the university. They're experts on computer tracking. If anyone can sort this mess out, they can. You know, it was only by coincidence that the bank noticed the error at all. One of their clerks just happened to log into the main computer late last night and noticed that the records had been tampered with that very day. If it had gone undetected,
Let me try that again.
if it had gone unnoticed last night, the program would have automatically erased the day's log notes that pointed out the tampering. Whoever did this is probably sure that they'll get off scot-free, and also Bob free and Joey free as well. The funny thing is that your Uncle Basil and I know one of the people on this list, Ivy Brissot. She's having lunch at our house today.
And Shinobu says, "Good night, gentlemen. Have a good rest of your stream." We're only probably going to be on about 10 more minutes, but FYI.
Probably closer.
She's
to
a right
20.
If you bail, then good night, and I shall catch you again very soon. We're streaming tomorrow with Unbalanced, doing some more Red Dead Rootin' Tootin'. Gonna try and burn through the Red Dead Redemption 2 within the space of a year. We'll see how we do. So good night. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
She's a writer.
Excuse me. Goodness.
She's a writer chum of your uncle's, one of those types who's convinced they'll make $1 million one day. I'd love to see her face when she next checks her bank balance. She'll think her ship's come in.
Rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting. Wait, I gotta do this right. Rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting indeed.
You've seen this guy before. He was in that very first case with McCavity.
Oh yeah. This is Matt Berry. I remember this guy. This guy I remember. Pretty sure this is him. From what I can make of these computer records, it appears that someone fancies himself a 20th century Robin Hood. These records show that someone cracked a bank password code and took it upon himself to, redistribute the wealth, shall we say. The records show that someone used the telephone system to enter the bank's database yesterday and tamper with the contents of 6 accounts. So, the thief must have used a modem, a device that allows a computer to communicate with another computer over phone lines. He took £100,000 from an account belonging to the Rotten Rich Chaps Club and deposited it in 5 equal parts of £20,000 each in 5 separate accounts.
He took Inspector? Are you sure the thief was a guy?
No, Jake, I'm not. Figure of speech, don't you know? It could very well have been a man or a woman who did the tampering. There's no way of knowing. But we do live in a more enlightened age, so yes, she could have been a female. Our computer expert over at the University of London is sure that the culprit has to be one of the 5 people whose... I swear I thought that said coconuts. Whose accounts received the money because he or she used one of the account numbers to get into the bank's main computer. But the clever blighter covered his or her track so well, we can't pinpoint exactly which account number was used.
And there's one more clue here. Inspector Gage's case file lists the 5 people who received money, plus their account numbers at the London Trust Bank and their home and work addresses. Ivy Brissett, account number 125-713-6365, 20 Chelsea Place, London, self-employed. Elmer Klump, account number 200-488-0333, 1322 East Victoria Street, London, Covent Garden Machinations.
My name is Elmer Klump.
Was he that guy from the Tentacle? Or no, I'm getting him confused with someone else, I think.
Nah, I don't think we've seen an Elmer Klump. I think I would remember Elmer Klump, but who knows?
All right. Mrs. Florence Plum, Account number 740-286-4819. 52 Roughton Road, London. Ritz Hotel. Mr. Rick Hutton. Account number 925-453-6448. 72 Quaint Street, London. Student.
It's a
Mr.
very quaint street.
I think we found our guy. Mr. Robin Banks. Account number 723-617-1225. 41 Ganby Terrace, London. Datacom, Covent Garden. And his
Robin Banks.
Datacom. Datacom. He works for a computer company.
Really? Yeah.
This very much could be our guy.
Maybe. So does this game ever do like red herrings with stuff like this?
Sometimes.
Because the guy's name is Robin Banks. Seriously, I mean.
In the second case book, I think there are a few red herring cases where you really
Seems
have to
kinda
look
on
at the
the
clues.
nose.
To be fair, the dad in Mary Poppins, he worked at a bank and his name was Mr. Banks. George, if I recall correctly. George Banks.
True enough. Yeah, that's right. George Banks.
So here's the locations of the 5 people. We'll start with Ivy Brissett, who is having lunch with the family today.
Bus.
That must be Miss Brissett. Man, that's a pretty fancy looking computer she's got. I've never seen a laptop that small.
Really, Ivy? I'm not sure.
I'll let Basil do the introduction before we talk to her directly.
All right. Really, Ivy, I'm not sure why you brought this thing if you haven't the first clue how to use it. You've never been very good with computers. Now let me have a look at that manual, will you? Why does my music keep getting louder? No, I didn't want that quiet. Volume is so touchy on this. Ivy Brissot, what should she sound like? I don't know, man. There's so many freaking characters in this thing. I'm just gonna, whatever.
Oh, Basil, don't be so discouraging. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it. I just know it'll be the perfect thing to write me a new novel on. I can't bring my clunky old typewriter on a cruise now, can I? Yeah.
You're going on a cruise, Miss Brissett?
Yes, Jake, and I'm so excited. It'll be my very first trip out of Britain, and I'm doing it up a treat. I've booked a world tour on the spectacular Decadence Cruise Lines. They have male dancers.
Good grief, Ivy. What bank did you rob to be able to afford that? Those cruises are terribly expensive.
I've always told you I was going to come into money, Basil, and as you can see, I have. What can I say? It's obviously my destiny to be rich and famous.
Okay.
Now, if only I could use the modem that comes with this on my trip. But I've already spoken to the cruise lines, and they told me there are no phone lines available to computer users on cruise ships. How annoying.
Yeah, this was 40 years ago, I guess, so times have changed significantly.
Yeah.
People won't book a cruise now if they don't have Wi-Fi.
Clever little thing, isn't it, Jake? I just picked it up this morning. The store clerk said it was the very latest in carry-along computers. A Micromate Laptop 2000.
Which today would be worth about $4.
Is that what it is? It sure looks really cool. I bet Jennifer would be drooling right about now if she was here. She'd be itching to take the thing apart and see what makes it tick. Or hum.
Have a floppy drive in it.
What a dreadful thought! How would we ever get it back together again? It was appallingly expensive, you know. At any rate, I can see this won't be as easy as I thought. It's quite a complicated little monster. I shall have to do some studying up before I'm really ready to use it. Your Uncle Basil's promised to help me sort it out, though. I'll figure out a way to pay him.
Okay, so we know it's not her. She can't use her fancy new computer, and she only just got it this morning. As in, cannot have used it last night. As in,
yeah. Back in these days, it would have been,
what is this dose? Dose. What does that mean?
We're gonna do Quaint Street next.
Okay.
Bus riding time. Bus riding time.
That door over there is marked 72. What?
I was just gonna say, you must understand. Every time there's a graphic that shows a bus or a train, I have to sing something stupid. It's in my nature. It's in my DNA. I'm sorry, I have a
Have you
condition.
have you heard the
Anyway,
song "I've Been Everywhere, Man"?
I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah,
I've
that's the
seen
one. Don't
everything and
don't
everything.
don't 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 start earworming our crowd though. All right.
I've been everywhere.
That door over there is marked 72, and that must be Rick Hutton getting his mail. Hi there. Mind if we take a few photos?
Cool. That's a clever little thingamabob you've got there. Takes photos and all, does it? Can I have a look?
Sorry, my sister's pretty touchy about who we let handle the Travis. She only wants
Hardest-
us to use it.
Suit yourself. You don't have to worry about me breaking it, though. I've paid my way through school working on all sorts of computers.
So it could be this guy. Let's look at his note. Rick is posting a note to the post office asking them to hold his mail for 2 months. Rick's
I
mail
wonder
includes
why.
2 magazines on computer software and a newsletter called Programmer's Helper. He's a programmer.
He's got a subscription to 2600. He's a hacker. Put him in jail.
No, we still gotta talk to everybody.
Yeah, I know, but that was kind of a thing back in the day. 26. I don't know if you ever heard of
We're
2600
going back to the Ritz
magazine.
Hotel. Ritz Hotel remembers the place with the fancy 14th guest cab.
Bus, bus. But no, a quick note to our younger viewers: 2600 magazine was a hacker quarterly, I think it was. It was a little sort of a half-size thing, and I've actually got some issues around somewhere, but they were very big on exploits and exposing security vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Anyway,
There's Mrs. Plum, the housekeeper. She's on our list.
because Yopkis is on my list.
So,
No,
she's
that's
a
me.
housekeeper slash maid kind of person, and she's an older lady. It looks like.
Yep.
So there I was, just dipping in for a bit of pin money at one of those newfangled automatic cash machines, when I just had a quick look at the account balance. You'll never guess.
Overdrawn. Oh wait, this is good. Sorry, we've seen
That
him
doesn't
before. He's the hotel guy. We've seen him before.
David Merrick. Wait, is that? No, I'm thinking John Merrick. John Merrick was the Elephant Man. Overdrawn again, Miss P. If you'd like, I can lend you a few quid.
I'm
David,
sorry.
no.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all
It's
right.
getting
You're
late,
looking
I'm
for
sorry.
words. I understand. Yeah.
No, David, love, that's just it. It's me that could be lending you a few quid. A few thousand, if it were mine indeed, that is, but I'm afraid it's not. Not at all. That's why I've got to call that bank, you see, and tell them they've got the wrong account. I'd love to say that £20,000 is mine, but I know it's not. And if it's not mine, then someone's missing it.
Okay, so
Wasn't Miss Plum? Wasn't that a character in Clue?
I think so, but
Colonel Mustard. Miss
it's
Peacock?
clear. It's clear she's recognizing that the money doesn't belong there, and she wants
Yeah, it's
she
not
wants to
her.
try and give it back. It's not her, not by a long shot. Could be that Rick Hutton guy. He's a programmer, but he didn't have a lot to say on the matter. So let's go to Covent Garden, and then we'll round out at the University of London and talk to the
Yeah, I was gonna
computer
say
guys.
University of London probably is awash in hackers at this point in time.
There's only one guy at Covent Garden. I wonder if that guy is Mr. Clump. He sure is covered with little machines. So no, he's not the Tintagel Castle guy. He's someone else who also sells at Covent Garden.
Yeah. Is he selling or just hanging out? There we go.
Oh, he's a completely new guy. I don't recognize him. Oh,
Oh, so you couldn't resist the appeal of the Microman, the world's smallest android.
Microman? What is that? Some kind of toy?
No, Microman is a personal secretary of the most convenient kind. Its computer brain keeps track of all your appointments and schedules, and its internal clock buzzes you when it's time to go to a meeting.
So why is it shaped like a little doll? Wouldn't that look kind of weird in a briefcase?
I just realized I'm adopting the wrong posture for the Gumby voice. Weird, not at all, forward-thinking, avant-garde, leading edge. The Microman is the first in a new wave of doll-shaped office supplies. Well, I'm not surprised by your reaction. Business has been terrible of late. I don't think the world is ready for Microman just yet. I suppose it's back to the drawing board for me. Besides, to tell you the truth, the blasted little things keep forgetting their programming anyway. They really need work. If only I knew about computers more. If only I knew more about computers than programming. Meh.
Okay. And you know what Microman is short for, don't you? Micro manager.
Microman?
Micro
Okay.
manager.
Yeah, alright.
You see where he's going with this name here? Anyway.
No. I mean, I know it means micromanager. I get that, but is it going somewhere else beyond that?
Okay.
It sounds like that's what you're
The,
saying.
the sign on the door at Datacom says, "Gone to British Museum Curator's office on assignment. Back by 3 p.m." So let's go to the university, talk to those guys, and then we'll go to the museum and meet this Robin Banks guy. How's that sound?
I am.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're going to go to the...
Hey, Mr. Robin Banks, we'd like to talk to you about your nom de plume. It's a handsome cab, it's a handsome cab,
to be
because
fair-
the train don't go there.
To be fair, if it wasn't so punny, it's a perfectly reasonable classic English-sounding name. Robin Banks. And Banks, we know,
Yeah.
was the name of the dad of Mary Poppins. How can you get more English than that? And Robin
Yeah,
is also a pretty classic English name. Check out that...
Yeah, I think Robin Banks is a hacker nom de plume.
Check out that computer. Microguts everywhere. You really have to be pretty good with computers to know how to take them apart and put them back together again. I did that a few weeks ago, in fact, for our seasonal,
everybody does
dusting.
now. There was a point in time when very few people did. I remember those
All right.
days.
So here's a...
Like I should have made a lot more money than what I did.
All right. So
Anyway.
this Mr. Henley, he's a new character. He's the computer instructor at the university. I think he's a
Okay,
one-off,
so-
but we might see him again in the second case book in one time. He's like a minor character.
All right, let's see here. I've gone as far as I'm going to get with these computer records Scotland Yard sent over. I'm afraid there's no way of telling which of the 5 bank accounts ordered the transfer. Whoever the clever little blighter is, they've covered their tracks brilliantly. As I told Inspector Gage, the only thing I know for sure is that one of the 5 accounts that received money definitely arranged the transfer. Quite a clever idea, really. Rather than transfer a great big wad of cash into one place and give yourself away, why not play a bit of Robin Hood? You know, take from the rich and give to the poor. Well, if that were the case, he would have done better to do like 100 accounts or something, but whatever. Before the transfer, all 5 of these accounts had very little cash indeed tucked away in them. I suspect that whoever nicked the cash thought he'd ease his conscience a bit by I suspect that whoever nicked the cash thought he'd ease his conscience a bit by topping up the coffers of a few blokes who were hard on their luck. At any rate, the person you're looking for would have to be quite a wizard with computers. The hacker who did this knows their way in and out of some very complex computer code.
Hacker? What's that?
Oh boy. That's definitely showing the edge of the game. Someone who uses their knowledge of computers to crack codes or play illegal tricks with proper computers is called a hacker. Actually, they prefer to be called crackers in most cases, but that even has its own negative connotation.
One of the books in that university common room is about Robin Hood, a legendary figure in English history. In the legend, Robin Hood lived in Sherwood Forest during the reign of King Richard the Lionhearted and robbed from the rich to give to the poor. Give me one moment, I had a pop-up. I got rid of the pop-up. In those days, it was illegal to hunt deer in the king's forests because they belonged to the king alone. But because many people were starving, they sometimes risked harsh punishment by shooting a deer for food. Legend has it that Robin Hood shot one of the king's deer and escaped punishment by fleeing into the forest. There he met up with Little John, Friar Tuck, Will Scarlet, and others who became part of his band of merry men. Eventually, his sweetheart, Maid Marian, also joined them in the forest. Despite the fact that he was an outlaw, the people of Sherwood loved Robin because he robbed the rich people traveling through Sherwood and gave the money he stole to the poor villagers. Whether Robin Hood was a real person or just a story has never been completely proved, but it has been
And then he would-
Disney-fied.
Yeah. and then he would punch them in the face, at least according to Monty Python. I remember that scene.
And now we're going to go to the British
Here's
Museum.
a couplet.
And we're going to go to the British Museum and meet this Robin Banks from Datacom, hopefully.
All right. It's a handsome cab. It's the handsomest cab. Gets all the ladies.
Hey, that guy at the computer must be Mr. Banks. He sure seems like he knows his way around the keyboard.
Yeah, and put it on pause for a second.
No, I can't.
Man on the inside.
We're so close to the end of this, Mom.
Well, I need help going down. And I want
A few adjustments to your configuration here, and the system will be up and running again in no time, Mr. Tribb.
Unfortunate name.
You fix computers, Mr. Banks?
Absolutely. If it runs on circuitry and microchips, I can make it run better. If it's down, I'll bring it up. If it's slow, I'll make it speedy. Here's my card.
Mr. Banks' business card reads Robin Banks, computer analyst. Datacom, Covent Garden. We met this guy before, too. He's the curator's assistant at the museum. He was in one thing.
We have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do hurry up with that computer, Robin. The brute's been down since last week. If I could have reached you on your vacation, I'd have dragged you in right away.
He was on vacation?
That shrewish little secretary of yours said she couldn't possibly reach you on your cruise. No phones at sea, she said. Well, at least no phones with modem access. Well, nice for some, I said. Pottering around in the sun whilst others work their fingers to the bone struggling with defective computers. Some people have no consideration. Ugh.
He is a red herring.
Who? Robin Banks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the other
If
guy.
he's on vacation, he can't be the one.
Yeah. So that guy was on vacation. The older lady was
Rick
trying to
Hutton.
give the money back.
It's Rick Hutton, the guy who had nothing to say. Because Mrs.
Yeah.
Plum is not computer savvy, Ivy is not computer savvy, and the Microman guy, he isn't a good programmer, so.
Oh, hey, somebody subscribed. It didn't tell me who, but somebody subscribed. Whoever you are, you're awesome. Thank you.
Where do you see that?
I don't know how to work this. I've got like alerts enabled for when people do certain things, but it's supposed to show me text. It doesn't do that, and so few people subscribe that I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot it. I may get a session together with you at some point and see if we can do something with that. But anyway,
let's put the solve together.
thank you. All right.
Because once we put the
I'll
solve
go through these
together,
quickly.
we can end the stream.
Yeah. Let me burn through this here. A modem is a device that allows computers to communicate over phone lines. The computer expert at the University of London is sure that the tampering was done over the telephone system by one of the 5 people who received money from the illegal transfer. The person who tampered with the 6 bank accounts probably thinks that they'll get away with it because the bank's computer would have erased any record of the tampering the next day.
I
But
think
they
these
don't
first
know
two.
that.
I think these.
this one's mine.
I think this is a clue for sure.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Ivy Brosseau is a good friend of Uncle Basil. She's always hoped to be rich one day. Nothing there. The 5 people who received money from the illegal transfer were Miss Ivy Brosseau, Mr. Elver Clump, Mrs. Florence Plum, Mr. Rick Hutton, and Mr. Robin Banks. Mr. Henley says that only someone who's very good with computers could have figured out how to transfer the money. This person is a, quote, hacker. It's a hacker. Someone who uses their knowledge of computers to interfere with proper programs. Mr. Henley says that all 5 of the accounts that received money from the illegal transfer were nearly empty the day before. Ivy Brosseau bought a brand new, very expensive Micromate Laptop 2000 this morning. Ivy Brosseau doesn't know much about computers. Uncle Basil's helping her out with a new laptop. None of these are relevant. Ivy Brosseau is going to use her new computer on a world cruise she just booked with Decadence Cruise Lines. Uncle Basil says those cruises are very expensive. Elmer Clump designs computerized dolls, but the circuitry inside them doesn't work very well. He wishes he knew more about computers so his dolls would work better. Nope. Rick Hutton says that he paid his way through school by working on computers. That's probably a thing there, maybe. Rick Hutton's mail includes 2 magazines on computer software and a newsletter called Programmer's Helper. This is all circumstantial so far, just to throw that out there. Robin Banks is a computer analyst for a company called Datacom in Covent Garden. Robin Banks just got back from a cruise this morning. Percy Tribb's been trying to reach him all week, but there were no phones with modem access on board the cruise ship.
And we
So
want to
are
go
we?
back. We want to go back and select the clue that says you need a modem to connect uh, to connect computers to the phone lines. So we need the modem.
It didn't take that. Yeah. No, there we go. Oh, maybe not. Mr. Hanley says that the third
That
one.
might be
That
that
one.
one.
Yep, that one for sure. We're nearly empty. Yeah, maybe. There we go.
I'd say it's not
And
Robin Banks. They just
it's Rick Hutton.
they just gave him a punny name so that to throw everyone else to throw us off and make him the sus one.
Herring. Red herring. Welcome to the red herring show.
You also remember Rick Hutton had absolutely nothing to say, whereas everyone else did. You got it. Rick Hutton is the hacker who tampered with the bank accounts. Mr. Henley, the computer expert at London University, told us that the tampering definitely came from one of the 5 accounts that received the money. He also said that the person who did the tampering must have been an expert hacker, someone who cracks computer codes for fun. We interviewed all 5 of the suspects. Mrs. Plum called the bank to tell him of the error in her account. The real hacker wouldn't have done that, it would have given them away. Mr. Clump makes computerized toys, but he's no computer expert. His toys never seem to do what they're told. Ivy Brissett, Uncle Basil's friend, was all set to spend the money she found in her account, but she didn't put it there. She was having a tough time figuring out her new laptop. The bank's complicated security codes would have been impossible for her. Robin Banks certainly seemed the type, and has the right name for it, except that he's been on a cruise for the last week where no phones with modem access were available, so he couldn't have connected with the bank's software and done the tampering. The only suspect who had the skill and the opportunity to break into the bank's database was Rick Hutton.
And he's our man. Oh, by the way, just very quickly, I figured out that I could bounce back over to my Twitch screen and see who subscribed. So, Mommy ASMR, thank you. There we go. I figured out how to do it. It should be telling me on the screen when it pops up. I don't know why it's not.
Well,
doing that,
what happened now?
that was remember a few minutes ago someone subscribed and it didn't pop up and tell me who, but it does a little animated graphic thing when people subscribe, but I didn't see any text on it, and I never see any text on them, so I've got to troubleshoot it at some point. But at any rate, yeah, it was Mommy ASMR. It tells you on the Twitch manager or whatever. So I bounced back over to that and got it. But anyway, thank you. We'll burn through the last of this. Computer age hacker unmasked by Eagle Eyes. London Trust Bank today announced the capture of a computer hacker who stole £100,000 from the Rich Rotters Cash Club charity for sick children. The self-styled Robin Hood thought he could cover up for his crime by dividing his booty amongst 4 other bank clients, but he didn't count on Uncle Evie's cleverness, said Inspector Gage. Uncle sorted out that only one suspect fit the culprit's profile, and when questioned, that suspect confessed. I would have loved to have spent the money myself, said Ivy Brosseau, who received some of the illegally transferred funds, but I'm glad to see it'll go to a good cause. So no cruise for Ivy. Oh, Chucky darn for Ivy.
That's all right. Eventually she'll publish her book, and then she'll go on that cruise.
There you go. And she'll have earned it. And it's so much better that way.
And at this point, I'm gonna pick an exit rate for my stream.
Do you want to do one more, or do you want to?
No, I want to call it here. It's 1:00 in the morning. I want my piece of pie, and I need to get sleep. We have goings on tomorrow.
Night, Bret.
Yeah, it's still Pie Day in places to the east of here, so you're fine.
You
for
mean the
another
west
couple
of
hours.
here?
Or west, yeah. What'd I say? East, yeah, west.
So let's see.
So is it still Pie Day? Yeah, it's still Pie Day in the Mountain and Pacific time zones and
It is.
anything westward.
And all the rest of the country.
Papua New Guinea.
Let me just
still has
let me
Pie
just
Day.
figure out who I'm
I
gonna
don't.
write into, and Then I'm gonna exit out of
Okay.
here. Anything you want to say to the crowd? We're not gonna be
I don't know
doing.
where Papua New Guinea is, but
We're
it
not. We're
it
not
was
gonna
the
be
most
doing
exotic
this
thing I
next
could
week.
think of
We're not gonna be
to
doing this
say.
next week. You'll be at a concert. So, I think. Oh, you're still broadcasting me. Let
I
me.
lost your audio, bud. Are you there?
I'm
Did I
here.
lo-
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up really. I think it's a bandwidth thing. It seems to. Hey, Evie. Hey,
Yes.
Evie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yours is crapping out real bad. It seems to be when you switch around on stuff in your browser. So I think you got a
Well,
bandwidth thing going
we're
on.
getting ready. We're
We can
getting ready to
troubleshoot that
quit.
offline. I just wanted to
Yeah,
mention it
we're
while it
getting
was
ready to
fresh in
quit
my
out
mind.
anyway. I went back to the splash screen for figuring out my raid, and I think I'm just gonna keep it simple. I see two people here
Okay.
who
If
are
if
good choices.
Hey, Evie, before you do that, I'm not going to take part in the raid. I'm going to go ahead and bail myself. But to anyone that joined us tonight, thank you very much. I really appreciate your participation. That makes this all worthwhile. And especially any new subscribers we picked up, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Um, we're continuing our march up to 50 whole subscribers. We'll eventually get there. I need to stream more often, but I just can't because of my work schedule. So weekends it is for now. But tomorrow night, we will have Unbalanced here, and we will be doing some rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting with Red Dead Redemption 2. And Unbalanced is kind of the expert that I know on that game because he has over 3,000 hours in it, which I cannot fathom, but he does. So we'll be taking advantage of that expertise tomorrow night. We're shooting for around 9:30 for a stream start. I'll announce it on the Blue Sky account when we're ready to go. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and drop Evie, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, and meanwhile, for those of you on my stream, well, the plan was to do part 2 of the Mario Kart and finish the Mario Kart Lego for my normal Saturday stream. But we have a goings on here tomorrow, and I don't know if my computer will be usable in the evening. So if I don't get to Mario Kart tomorrow, then we'll do it probably on Sunday. All I know is I want to finish the Mario Kart sets this weekend, because next weekend we have a really special Lego set planned for the first weekend of spring. Meanwhile, right now, I know for sure we're not going to be doing the Eagle Eye next week. We're going to be taking the week off because Bret will be elsewhere occupied next Friday.
I'll be game nighting. Or no.
That's
Friday is
Thursday.
Dream Theater. Yeah. Dream Theater in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I
Looking
mean, if
forward to that big time.
if Glenn wants to help
With
Mom
my
on Friday before you go
Portnoy.
downtown, I mean, there's options. I'm just kidding, Glenn. I know you're not going to do that.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What'd you say?
I said if you wanted to help Mom before you go downtown.
Yeah, no.
He's volunteering you for stuff. That's what he's doing, and he's doing it publicly, so you
no.
can't back out of it. Ha ha
He's
ha!
voluntelling me.
Checkmate.
Anyway.
He's voluntelling me.
Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I think for my stream we're gonna raid Mandy Prater tonight because John Lee looks like he's doing his 2-hour piano music loop, which means he's not actually physically there right now and will not see the raid.
Yeah.
So we're gonna raid Mandy Prater tonight. Mandy is a very excellent musician out of Texas whose fan club is called the Mandalorians. I'm not making that up. So we're gonna
fantastic.
We're gonna raid Mandy Prater.
I like that. That's pretty good.
I checked to make sure it's a home show and not a studio gig because I really don't like raiding, or not. I don't mean studio gig. I mean live gigs, because live gigs, if you raid a live gig, they're not going to see you. But if they're sitting in their studio on one of their regular shows, they'll see the raid. So we're gonna go to Mandy Prater and join the Mandalorians tonight. And
Mandalorian.
actually, no, we're not. She just signed off. Okay.
Oh. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You can go ahead and figure that out offline. I'm going to go ahead and drop and go to
Yeah.
my close mode. But anyway, thanks again for everybody that joined tonight. Join us tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, 9:30 ish, somewhere around in there Eastern time. I'll post it on the Brett the Breton Blue Sky account when we get to going. And thanks everybody for joining tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bail.
All right.
Thank you, Evie, once again. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can continue this after next weekend.
I'll just raid the John Lee piano loop, I guess.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go to my good night screen. Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you very
night.
much. And I will talk to you some point tomorrow or the next day or something like that, Evie.
Okay.
All right. Take care, everybody. Good
All
night.
right. Good night. And I'm just setting up the raid. We're gonna go John Lee, and I apologize if it is in fact his piano medley loop, but there's no other musicians on right now, so we gotta take what we can get. Have a good night, and I will either see you for Mario Kart tomorrow or Sunday, or in a worst case scenario, we'll definitely finish the Mario Kart within the next couple days. I'm just not sure exactly when. And then next week, of course, we'll have the first week of spring. I'll try and do some zoo during the week as well, since I didn't get to it this week. So maybe we'll do some practice in the zoo game on a weekday stream as well. Have a good night, and I will see you soon.